question?
I mean, it's just a joke. I don't actually really simp for her, dude. It's just a joke. I don't even really watch her like that.
He simps for other things.
USA.
Do you want to go straight for that, Connor? Then I guess.
Go straight for it. Yeah. So why are you okay with that stuff?
Why are you okay with raping living children?
I don't, and if you're gonna go down this route and say that I do, I can get you for defamation, dude. But you did agree to that. So if you want to keep going down this route, I could get
you for defamation.
No, I have you admitting to
defamation. This is Discord.
Yeah.
Well, I have him, as I said, is that he's saying that I support something that involves SA, but he, in his view, I have it on footage and I've uploaded it. And if you're gonna do that, don't try it.
Okay, so if your God told you to commit sexual assault, you would do it?
God cannot command that.
That's like a really awful
Okay, so then it seems like your God is not all powerful then.
No, because the all-powerful definition is that God can do all things according to his nature, and also, which is logically possible. So this is understood in classical theism, and I'm not too sure if you're educated on meta-ethics and classical theism.
Okay, so your God can't do all things, so therefore he's not all-powerful, so you don't believe your God is all-powerful?
No, it's this is an equivocation fallacy, and I've addressed this multiple times. Because the definition of all-powerful understood in the Christian paradigm has always been according to God's nature, which is that he can do all things.
So you would disobey your God?
No, what argument is this, dude?
Your God has instructed you, your God, in the hypothetical, your God has instructed you to commit a horrendous crime against a child. Are you going to do it or no?
He can't do that, dude.
Well, in the hypothetical, he is.
Then it's not my God, because Jesus literally said the opposite.
So then you would defy, so you wouldn't listen to your God.
World of Warcraft.
No,
it's not the gotcha. It's not the gotcha you think it is, dude.
Yeah, you look like an
so
idiot
again,
right
you're saying that your God, you listen to everything that your God does, and your God has instructed you to commit a crime, to have sex with a child, and you are saying no, so you don't listen to your God. You're defying your God.
No.
As someone who was unbiased in the moderation of the debate, KingSithis, if I'm being honest, man, you're just strawmanning pretty much his position right now.
I don't care. I mean, he's trying me. I don't care. I mean, I'm not being bad. I'm being bad faith. I'm the one being bad faith.
You're a little upset that you lost really hard when you admitted that it's okay to have sex with dead people, dude. Is that really what you're doing
there's no
right now?
rights violation going on in that situation. Whereas you think if your God instructed you, Whereas if your God instructed you to commit a crime against another person, unless you're going to go back on your Christian ethic, then you'd have no choice but to listen to your God, correct?
Well, you would have to.
Were you here last night?
No, KingSithis, basically, him and I debated, and in the debate, KingSithis led to a reductio where he doesn't think there's a rights violation if it involves dead people, and I asked him if it would be morally permittable in his view to have sex with dead minors, and he didn't. He kicked me and banned me from his server because it led to that reductio. And in my view, he keeps going down this weird gotcha, but as I said, God cannot contradict himself, and that's how it's understood. And he doesn't understand classical theism, biblical theology, or whatever. Is that basically God is all good? In Matthew, God commands the opposite, and God hypothetically cannot. It's like asking if a circle can be a triangle. They're mutually exclusive things, and that's the foundation of meta ethics.
Could you give me examples
so why doesn't
in the Bible of God
just come out and say that he lost and that he's being bad faith?
Yeah, what will say he has to.
Yeah, so to respond to that, you're saying that. Hold on, I can't respond to that. Yeah, so to respond to that, you're saying you believe that in Christian ethics, your Christian ethics involves a God. If your God instructs you to commit, some sort of sexual crime against a God, some sort of child, you would have no choice but to follow that instruction according to your Christian ethic.
Oh my gosh, dude, you're so dumb.
Oh, hold on, I didn't interrupt you. If you do not follow that heinous act, then it seems like you're not really faithful to the God in which instructing you to do that heinous thing.
Are you seriously using this? Because even in the Christian paradigm, for example, like in the Christian paradigm, humans still have free will. And even still, if you're just going to say, oh, you're not faithful, I am faithful because I know my God is good.
Oh, God has never instructed people to do bad things, right?
it hasn't commanded to do SA or have sex with dead children in your weird ass
so
view,
wait. So God has never instructed people to go and kill people and then take the women and have sex with them. Abraham didn't have sex slaves. Abraham didn't have sex slaves.
You're trying to do.
Did Abraham have sex slaves?
God didn't command him to have sex slaves.
But he was a follower of God, so he was okay.
Yeah.
Was he wrong for having sex slaves? Wait, was Abraham wrong for having sex slaves?
Yes.
Okay, so he's in hell.
You realize under the Christian view,
so is he in hell?
Been 2 people
I'm sorry, am I debating you
perfect.
or am I debating Connor?
He's getting pissed.
I'm just saying that
you could be pissed all you want, but I'm not debating you. I mean, you could say I'm strawmanning all you want, but it literally says in the Bible. Here's a Bible verse. Now, therefore, kill every man among the little ones. Kill every. So that's Samuel, literally God instructing.
Let me
hold on. Nope. I'm going to finish. Now, therefore, kill every. Hold on. Kill every male among the little ones. Kill every woman that hath no man by lying with him, but all the women, children that have not been, a man by lies with him, keep them alive for yourself. So that's God literally instructing. That is God instructing. That is God instructing somebody to go and kill people and enslave them.
Have you heard of ancient Near East war language before in a history class?
Okay, hold on. I'm not talking to you. So therefore, if your God instructed you to do that exact same act as he instructed those people to do, are you going to say yes? Dude. Or are you going to say no?
Oh my gosh, dude, you're so stupid because
y'all going to keep talking in circles at this point.
As I said, basically later in the passage, those same women and children show up, so you're already wrong in your interpretation.
Okay, so here's another Bible verse. Deuteronomy's 21:10 through 14.
You know what ancient Near East war
when you go out to war and see among the captives a beautiful woman and you desire her, take her for your wife. You may go in her, which is essentially God instructing somebody to go and rape somebody. So therefore, if God instructed you to commit that crime, are you going to do that?
He didn't command it.
He didn't instruct him to do that?
He didn't command people to take
people if God instructed you to do that at that time, would you go and do it?
Well, think about this. You actually did say take her as your wife, right? And then how do they instruct them how to treat their wives?
I got other. Well? I mean, what about the first one? Clearly tells him people to kill and enslave people, right?
Okay. Can I address this?
Okay, here's another one. Deuteronomy. If a man finds a young woman who is a virgin who is not betrothed,
make the point.
He seizes her and lies with her, and are found out, then the man shall marry the young woman. So if the God instructs you,
just an idiot.
So if you rape a woman, God instructs you to marry that woman. Do you support that? So if you rape a woman and then you support, and then God tells you to marry her, are you going to marry her after you rape her?
Do you think that's just? You're a troll because you keep.
Is that just?
You're trying to gotcha, but it's not working because you're.
Is that just?
In your view.
Is it just to force a woman to marry a person after she's been raped? Is that just?
What are you talking about?
Your God says that's okay. So therefore, you have to say that's okay, right?
I don't know.
No. In the Bible verse, it literally says, I could read it again.
I don't.
If a man finds a young woman, a virgin who is not betrothed, and he seizes her and lies with her, which means rapes her, and they find out, then the man shall marry. What do you think seize her and lie with her means? What do you think that means?
You seize and lie with her?
Seize her and lie with her. What does that mean?
And what? It depends on the context.
Okay,
are you saying
he says, look, I have the context. You could pull up the Bible verse if you want.
You
Deuteronomy.
You don't
listen to me. And it says the context here. This context describes a case where a man has sex with an unbetrothed virgin, sometimes translated as rape, sometimes as seductive, depending on the translation. So in this translation, it is a rape. He's literally saying seizing her and lying with her. So in that situation, your God instructs that man after he rapes that woman to marry her.
That's not.
Is that just?
Can I make a suggestion? Can I make just a quick suggestion?
No, I want him to answer.
If you're so sure on this verse, right, go down just a couple channels to the Christian channel and ask what they say.
No, well, okay.
Yeah, because
so the first Bible verse literally tells people. So you support slavery?
Your verse? No, I don't. And basically, you keep not. I'm trying to answer, but you're not letting me speak because you know that you're openly you're being bad faith and misinterpreting these verses because you admitted that in your view you'd be okay with having dead sex children and fucking them in your weird
having
Ancap
sex
society.
with a dead body does not violate the rights of another person. Whereas
Even
you know,
if it's a minor,
well,
even if it's a minor.
you know what violates the rights of another person? Do you know you know what does violate the rights of another person? Enslaving them and raping them. If
He
your
didn't do
God,
that. He
your
did command
God
it. He did
literally
command it.
instructed people to rape
he didn't.
and murder
No, he
and
didn't.
enslave
King,
people.
King,
Under
whatever the
your
fuck,
ethic,
you
you would
talk too
have
much.
to
Let
you
the
would
guy
have
actually
to say
respond, dude.
that is okay.
He's manifesting
KingSithis.
because no, God did not command that, and he's just doing this
so
because
I'll read the Bible verse one more time because you're saying God did
Yeah.
not say
Have
it
you
for
heard
you.
of ancient Near East
Numbers
language
31,
before?
17 through 18. Now kill every male among the little ones. That means
Have you
also
heard of
little
ancient
kids.
Near East
Kill
war
every
language
woman that
before?
hath no known man by lying with them, which means raping them. By all
No, it
women,
doesn't. Oh my
children,
gosh.
by all the women and children that have no man by
No, it actually
lying with
means
them.
having sex. It
Keep
doesn't
them alive
necessarily
for
mean
yourself,
rape, though.
which
You know what I
means that
mean?
you're enslaving them. So your God has instructed those people to rape and enslave and murder those people.
Wait, let me ask you this.
What
Let me ask you
do
this.
you support
If-
that? Is that
if
your
you're
God?
speaking-
Is that your
know the
God?
command.
If
We
you're
don't
sticking your
know,
dick
it's
in a
not-
dead body,
That's
is
not
it
your
really
God?
sex?
No,
That's not your God?
Look back earlier in the passage. You don't know the actual command in the passage. You're just saying that's his
Look,
command.
it says on the context, after the war with the Midianites, I can't pronounce that. Moses
later,
reportedly
yeah, you
under.
can't pronounce it
Listen
'cause
to
you
me.
don't know.
Moses, reportedly under God's instruction, tells the Israelites to kill male captives, all women who are virgins, but keep the virgin girls for themselves. That is quite God, literally God
Have
instructing
you heard
people
of
to.
ancient Near East
I don't care.
language
I
before
doesn't
in
make
a
it.
history
Oh, so that
class?
makes it okay.
You should care.
So that makes it okay.
No.
No.
Oh,
The
okay, so
point
that makes it
is,
okay?
It's hyperbolic
Is that your God?
language. It's
Is that your God?
hyperbolic language.
Is that your God? Yes or no?
No, because
Do
That's
you
not your
understand
God?
what I'm
It's
saying?
nearest.
That's
No,
not from
it's
the
not.
Bible. That's not
Yes,
from the Bible.
it's in the Bible.
Oh,
It's in the
so
Bible.
that is
It's
your
not from my
God.
God.
That is your
No.
God. That is your
Do you
God.
know under? No.
So you
you're a
don't believe in
troll
the
because
Bible?
The Bible's
Have you ever
inerrant
taken a
in its
history class
context.
before?
Okay. So you're pick and choose what part of the Bibles you
Have
support.
you ever taken a history
No.
class before?
Yes, I've taken many history classes. Now that doesn't
You
refute
obviously
my
failed
point.
all of them. You
That
failed
doesn't
all of
refute
them.
my
Have
point.
you learned about ancient
No, it's okay.
Near
Your
East
God
language
supports
before?
raping and murdering people, and
No,
if
he
he
doesn't.
instructed you to do
learned
the same
about
thing,
ancient Near
if you
East
don't do that
language
thing, then you
before?
don't support your God. Thank
Can
you,
you
Connor,
answer
for
the
admitting
question?
none of you guys support your
No.
God. None of you guys support
No.
your God because you
You're
don't
a troll
support
because-
literally.
I
You're
thought
an
this was
arrogant-
about
Give me more
anarcho-capitalism.
No, he's trying to got me, but in his hypotheticals,
look.
he's misconstruing
Mass
the verses.
kidnapping of virgins in Judges 20.
Capitalism.
He's
Judges 21s. So they instructed the Benjaminites to go, saying, "Go and hide in the vineyards and watch when
Have
the
you
girls
heard
of
ancient
Shiloh
Near East language
come
before?
out and join in the dancing. Each of
No,
you
this guy
seize
just
one of
keeps
them
fucking
to
talking,
be
man.
your
That's all he can
wife."
do.
After the Civil War, the tribe of Benjamin is left out with what wife? The elders
won't-
allow
he's
them.
like-
I
The
just muted
elders
him, but,
allow
like,
them to kidnap
if I can
women
just-
Actually, that's
during
not
the
a bad idea.
festival,
If
which
if
means
all three
that.
of us mute him, then like, okay,
Hold on, this
then,
is
like,
my
yeah,
room.
good
If
luck.
you don't want to be in my room,
So,
you don't
yeah,
have to be
under
here.
a historical
If
view,
you
I can
don't
turn
wanna
you
be
down,
here,
is all I
You
can
don't
do,
have to
but,
be
like,
here. If you don't want to be here, this is my room.
Yeah, under a historical view.
You know that, right? You do know that's my
especially in
room.
those times
And if
in
you
the
turn me
ancient
down, I'll
Also,
kick
by-
you out.
That type of
Also,
war
by the way-
language was used. Yeah, go ahead, Connor.
Also,
that's
by
your
the way,
God.
in the Bible, there's descriptions
Defend your
that
God.
aren't prescriptions from God. There's descriptions in the
Correct.
Bible that are sinful that aren't from God. Yeah.
That was God. That
Even
it literally
Jesus
is
critiques the
God
Old Testament
telling,
and the New
instructing those people to
Testament.
do that.
I guess technically, debate and Ancap is different than debating whether or not.
Listen to
Ancap
bro, if
is
you don't
good
want
or
to be
not.
in here, you're more than welcome to leave. Nobody's
Well, no,
holding.
I guess I
I'm not
misunderstood
forcing
the
you to
prompt.
be
I didn't-
here.
I didn't
I'm not
expect
forcing you to be
hear a bunch
here.
of Bible verses.
Oh, but he's
joining
okay
this.
with
Hold on.
fucking the dead kid's
Listen,
body
I'm
in
an
his view.
Ancap. You're debating me. If you guys don't want to be here to debate me, you're more than welcome to go. I'm not making you stay
Well,
here.
I thought what we
Am
were
I
doing
making
was
you stay
debating
here?
about.
See, he
what I
ran
thought-
away because he couldn't handle the fact that his God supports rape and murder.
Okay. Well, let's change the subject then. Now that he's gone.
All right, that's fine. I'm not making anybody
Okay.
stay here though.
So I brought up something last night. Okay, I brought up something last night to the other ANCAP people, but Can you actually volunteer yourself into slavery?
No.
Why not?
Because, okay, can you volunteer into or to rape? To be raped?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Is there such thing as voluntary rape?
See, wasn't I talking to you last night?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think it was the night before yesterday.
No, okay. But rape is not the same thing as slavery.
I know it's not the same thing as slavery, but the only point that I'm making is the reason why you would say that there's no such thing as voluntary rape, right? Is because by definition, rape is an involuntary situation, correct?
Okay, if it wasn't you I was talking to, then the situation would be then, right?
Mm-hmm.
A guy holds you at gunpoint, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're a woman, and let's say you have a daughter. And he's like, I'm going to rape one of you. Now, which one is it going to be? That means that the parent is going to probably volunteer to get raped.
Okay, so there's a difference between saying, "Hey,
well, is it really rape then? If they volunteer,
it is rape. Of course, it's rape.
Raped?
Whoa, of course, it's
you're
rape.
volunteering to get raped then.
Hold on, no. Just because you're saying I'd rather get raped as opposed to this person doesn't mean that you are okay with being raped. If you given that other person,
well, you can just let your kid get raped instead.
Hold on, listen to me. Do you want to hear the answer?
Yeah.
So,
please.
for instance,
right,
if I pull a gun on you, and I say I'm gonna kill you, right, as opposed to you giving your money, that's not you consenting to that transaction. Even though you may be choosing to give up the money, you're not consenting. The reason why you're not consenting is because the person would have asked you for that money before, you would have said no. The only reason why you're saying
now
yes.
We've gone from slavery to rape.
Hold on,
to now
do you not
robbery.
want to hear my explanation? And for me to give the explanation, I have to give an analogy for you to better understand where I'm coming from. Now, but for me to do that, I have to finish it. So
right, I understand that, but you're using an analogy to describe an analogy to talk about the slavery thing. It's like, okay.
Okay, so I guess you don't want to have a conversation then. You just want to hear yourself talk.
No, it's fine. I was just telling you like what you're doing. That's all. I'll listen.
Okay,
That's fine.
so all right. So the reason why I'm saying it's non-consensual or it's not voluntary. Voluntary means that you're consenting, that you want that thing to happen, right? Just because you choose.
No, not right.
No?
No, and you asked me the question. I wasn't interrupting. You said right, and I said no. I wasn't interrupting you there.
I know that. Now I'm asking you to clarify. You think that you can volunteer even though you don't consent?
Yes.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I'm not. I would guess I would disagree with you on that point because it's not really voluntary.
All right.
Because if somebody is going to say they're going to kill you if you don't do this, or I'm going to kill somebody else, well then it's not really voluntary because there's a threat of force behind the transaction.
Well, if someone says I just want to be a slave, are they a slave then? Like, just
well,
'cause
if
that's
you
what they
choose
want?
to be a slave, then it's not slavery because you're choosing to be a slave. If you're
But
choosing to be a slave, then nobody's forcing you to be a slave. See, the thing about slavery is that it entails some sort of like involuntary, like unconsensual transaction in the mix. But if you choose to work for somebody, well then that's just a job. And if you believe that that's slavery, then every single job would be slavery pretty much. Does that make sense?
Can you say that one more time?
Okay.
I had
what I'm saying is like my only thing is like for something to be voluntary, you have to consent to the transaction. If somebody's pulling a gun on you and saying I'm going to kill you or I'm going to kill another person if you don't do this thing, well then it's not voluntary because there's a threat of force behind the transaction. And if you are volunteering, then you're just saying, okay, I want to do it. and it's not a like. So for instance,
No,
if I offers you a job,
you can volunteer to get killed. You can volunteer anything.
Well, you could consent to be killed, right? But if I'm consenting to be killed, then it's not
consent.
murder.
Volunteering doesn't necessarily mean consent. It's like, well, I don't want this to happen to me, but I'd rather it happen to me than them.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. I feel like if there's a threat of force that you're gonna kill another person in that transaction, or you or another person, then it's no longer voluntary because there's a threat of force if you don't do that.
This might be a bad example, but think about the Hunger Games, right? Where they volunteered as tribute instead of having their little sister or whatever go into the Hunger Games. Like, they volunteered. They didn't want to do it. Like,
okay, in the sense that they made the choice to do it, I would agree with you there. But what I'm saying is it's a coercive transaction because fundamentally, if she,
it's definitely coercive. Yes,
if her sister wasn't being, you know the plot line, right? I don't need to explain it. If her sister wasn't being,
right. I'm just saying, like,
she wouldn't have said yes. She wouldn't have said yes, right? So from my perspective, it's not really voluntary because they were gonna kill her.
Why is it not voluntary? She didn't have to. She even says in the movie, I volunteer as.
Yeah, but I'm not saying, but I don't think she's really like legitimately volunteering. I mean, she might say she's volunteering.
What would you call it? What would you call it if it's not volunteering?
I would say she's choosing to do it, but I wouldn't say. I'm not sure. I would say it's voluntary. But
like, what about the people
we
that,
could be. Listen,
were,
even
were
if I were to grant
cleaning up Chernobyl, what about the people that were responsible for cleaning up Chernobyl, knowing that they're going to die? They don't want to die, but they still volunteered to do it.
Well, nobody was. I mean, it depends if there's a threat of force behind the transaction. Did they say they were going to shoot them if they didn't do it?
I don't think so.
Oh, well then, I'm not sure that would be correct. Okay, well then how about this? Like, if we're going to look at it from your perspective, if I go by your definition, right, of, oh, well then, if you choose, then it's voluntary. Well then I guess you're right? But to me, that doesn't change whether or not it's still coercive, right? You know. So I guess to be fair to you,
fine. I'll look up the actual definition of voluntary.
Because for me, I would
I could
say
be
I'm
wrong
not
for all I know, you know.
I mean, if you're correct, then I guess then yes. But I would say, and then I would change the word to it's a coercive transaction then, fundamentally then to I guess amend my statement then.
Okay, to give or offer to give. Come on, volunteered translation or
they use the word in the definition.
The first, it's like, well, that's the AI. That's the AI fucking answer. Okay, I'll go to Merriam-Webster. Volunteer, a person who voluntarily undertakes or expresses a willingness to undertake a service, such as one who enters into military service. Voluntary. Why do you keep saying voluntary?
Using the word voluntary in the word voluntary. How about this? Maybe
even in Merriam-Webster. What is going on here?
Could you give me a definition of voluntary? Okay, done by one's free will without coercion, force, or fraud. So yeah, I guess that one would agree with me.
Well, only in the rape case and the robbery case, but not necessarily the slavery thing. Because, like,
well, I mean,
what's the difference between volunteering to be a slave and then working alongside all the regular slaves, and you're still like under the same restrictions as all the other slaves? All of a sudden, you're not a slave then?
Well, I mean, if it's not coercive, then you're not a slave because you're just working a job. That would just be a job. If nobody's
so
like, for instance, if
you got 10
normal
slaves
job
around you, and you're doing all the stuff that the slave is doing. But you volunteered to do it, but so you're not a slave, but the other ones are, even though you can't leave the plantation either.
I mean, if you're not allowed to leave the plantation, then you are a slave.
But you volunteered to be one.
I don't think you could really volunteer to be a slave. If no one's forcing you, then you're not a slave. It's just a job.
If you want to be a slave, then how do you do it then?
I don't think you can want to be a slave. I don't know, like, how do you want to be a slave?
How can you be a slave then? If like you actually want to be a slave,
I don't think you can.
That doesn't make any sense, dude.
I don't think you can because it's for the whole idea of slavery is that it's involuntary, and Like I said,
you volunteer to be a slave, so you're not a slave.
Done by one's free will without coercion, force, or fraud. If there's a coercion going on, if someone's forcing you to work, that's not voluntary. You're not voluntary.
You're the one that brought up the robbery thing. You're the one that brought up the rape thing. I'm talking about just slavery.
I'm talking.
How does one become a slave?
How can I,
if I want to be a slave, how do I do it?
You can't. You're not understanding what I'm saying. You can't.
No, I don't think you're understanding. You can't explain it.
I am trying to, but you're not allowing me to.
No, but if I want to be one, how do I become it?
Okay, do you want to hear the answer? Because I feel like the second I open my mouth, you're just going to interrupt me. Can I answer?
You're doing the same thing to the last guy, so I mean.
Yeah, because he was an asshole.
All right, well.
But I'm not being an asshole to you. I don't think I am being an asshole. Also, he was interrupting me
I think we're actually having a good conversation.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. But no, I'm just saying that like it doesn't make sense because you can't want to be a slave if you're. That's just a normal job. For instance, if your job is slavery, you're working.
Do slaves get paid typically?
So is an intern a slave?
Kinda.
No. What? No.
Well, they're an intern. There's a different word for it, isn't it?
It's the same thing. You're working for free. It's the same thing.
I just asked if slaves got paid. That's all I said.
No, I'm saying even if they weren't, if you're choosing to work at a job, I can't see it as being slavery. It's not slavery.
No, what my question though is, if I wanted to be a slave, why couldn't I volunteer to be a slave? And if I volunteer to be a slave, then why does that not make me a slave?
I think
because the whole
Stephen Kinsella is the one who was really against amongst my libertarian philosophers, because you can't really separate your body from your conscience is kind of like the main argument, I think.
No, well, my argument that I'm trying to make, and tell me if I'm wrong, guy, is if you're, huh?
Oh, I'm not an expert. I'll hear you out though.
No, okay, God, sorry, I just wanted. So what I was saying is, if you're choosing to be a slave, then it's not really slavery because you're choosing to do it. So, for instance, if I choose to work for a job, that's just a job. That's not slavery.
I think it's like maybe a misnomer. It's like saying like justified murder, which means it's not really murder. I mean, depending on how you're using the word.
Yeah, like that's saying justified murder. Like it's not.
Yeah, justified. That's just
slavery.
Killing. Is it? Yeah.
That's not murder.
No, it's not justified. Like slavery is not good either way, right? But if I wanted to be one, how could I?
Or I guess it would be self-defense. Is self-defense murder?
No, it's killing.
Okay, yeah. So that's the same thing. It's the same thing with like slavery, right? Slavery is not the same thing as a voluntary transaction because the whole idea of
homicide is not illegal.
Huh?
No, homicide is illegal, but
well, no, these guys were saying justified murder, but there's justifiable homicide, which is self-defense.
No, the only point that I'm trying to make mean words, right, is we're talking about like if you could voluntarily be a slave. And my point is if you're okay with being a slave or working, then it's not really slavery because you're okay with doing it. Slavery is the idea that you're being forced to work. And if you're saying,
how do I become a slave, dude? How do I become a slave?
Is somebody has to force you. It has to be against your will.
But I want to be a slave. And so if I want to be a slave, if I let someone force me to be a slave, then that's what I want, is it not? And so am I a slave then?
No, because you want it. The whole idea of slavery is you don't want it.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Like, could slavery just mean like?
Well, slavery is you being your force. There's a force behind it.
No, hold on. You're assuming that's the case, but could it just be like working in exchange for no money?
But then interns would be slaves. Are interns slaves?
Sure.
Interns. There's even like nuns who don't take. Or there's some people who don't take thing to volunteer to help people.
The whole difference between an intern and like a slave, right, is that one chooses to be there and then the other one doesn't choose to be there, so they're being forced. That's why you call them, one is a slave and the other one's just an intern, right?
So basically, yeah, the interns and the slaves then have the same duties, the same punishments, the same everything, but I'll never be able to be a slave no matter how hard I try. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. It's not, you can't want to be a slave because the whole idea of being a slave is that you don't... Stop, let's stop asking. Oh my God, you're making my brain hurt. You're making my brain hurt, bro. Please, let me finish.
There's a third option really, which is that you could not want to be a slave, but like so for instance, if you're a slave in
How
like
could you
the
not
antebellum
want?
South, for instance. Well, hold on. Well, hold on.
Sorry, you just
No,
made
hold
me
on,
laugh.
because it's
That's
like-
all.
Well, I know I made you laugh.
You just made me laugh. Go ahead.
Sure, but if you have no frame of reference, and this is the only game in town, and your perspective is just like, well, I'm just a slave. That's it. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Then it's really not a question of whether you want to be or not. You just are. All right. So in that case, it's not really a question of
How are
oh,
you
I
a
don't
slave?
want to be.
Who's forcing you to?
Well, no. The
Some, but there
Well, technically,
slavery is a.
yourself,
Can we
you're
both
forcing
listen to
yourself
me?
To be the
Can we
slave.
all agree that slavery is a crime?
I mean, in certain countries, yes.
So you don't agree that slavery is a crime from your own personal perspective?
In this country, it is. In other countries, no, it's
So
not.
if it was legal in America, you would say, hey, it's okay because it's legal in America? That's what you're saying?
No. You're
Okay,
asking
so your
if it's a crime or not.
I'm asking
You're
your
not
own
asking if it's okay. You're asking if
That's-
it is a crime.
Oh my god, you're driving me crazy, bro. You're literally I can't tell if you're trolling or not, bro. You can't be serious. I literally asked you that. I asked you what is your
have
own
the personal opinion of whether slavery.
You
Yeah,
asked me if it
slavery
was
is
a
wrong.
crime.
But to the slave,
from in
Slavery
your
is wrong.
own
operating
from your own
slavery.
personal perspective.
Slavery's wrong. But
Okay.
even if I thought slavery was wrong and I just wanted to be a slave, how would I go about doing that?
You
Can't. You cannot. What part of that do you not understand?
I can explain or try to. I mean,
Go
the
ahead.
main argument against it is you can't separate your will. You can't like transfer your will to someone else. Like in particular, you could sell your body technically.
Well, you could
like,
cut a
if-
finger off and sell that, but
Yeah,
so long as you're
pretty much.
attached to your
But
body.
you can't
yeah.
really give them your will, your mind. Like for example, if someone like says, "Hey, you own my mind, soul, my will," and he said, "Don't think about cats," and you think about cats, obviously he's not in control of your will. It's like impossible. And that's like the main argument used to say you can't really be a slave. You can pretend to be a slave, and like, dang, I can't break out and run away. But you can, like, if you ever ran away, you're not really doing an aggression because you never really transferred your ownership of your will. If that makes sense.
Are you saying that I can't, like, transfer ownership of my will, but I could do it to other people?
What does that mean? No.
No,
Well,
he
they would be
didn't
the
say
slaves,
that.
wouldn't they?
What?
Hold on.
I'm not
You could
exactly
you
saying
could
that.
Like, I
physic
can't- I
hold on.
can't-
You
I
could
can't have
physic what he's
myself
trying to
enslaved,
say
but I
is
can enslave other people.
you can physically
No, I never
force
said that.
someone
I said
to
a
work
person
for
can never
you,
be a-
right? But it could never be a consensual transaction, right? Because the whole definition of slavery by itself is that it's inconsensual. But it could never because consensual. The whole idea of slavery is that you don't have a
Is it,
choice.
though?
If you had a choice, it would just be a job. Yes! If you choose to work,
But
it's
you
a
were
job.
with us-
If you don't
Did
choose and
Banta
someone's
get
forcing you,
definition of
that's slavery. That's the difference. So if you choose to work for somebody, you could say, oh, I'm a slave all I want. But in practice, you are just working. It's a normal job because nobody's forcing you. If you wanted to work a job and walk out the next day, well, then you're not a slave.
What's your opinion,
Fair
in
enough.
words?
Sure, I'll buy the simple that. Yeah, fine. I'll try not to be difficult.
I mean, we're arguing semantic. It's going to be complicated anyway. I mean, we're
thought
talking
we-
I
about-
think I just
don't
think
know.
I
I
could
just don't think
volunteer
it's
to be
that
a slave, dude.
complicated. I don't see why is this like so confusing.
It's
Not
not
confusing. It's
confusing.
not confusing. Well, it is, but it gets confusing if you're not allowed to like finish your sentence.
I mean, of
I
course.
think my point still stands that if you're living in an ecosystem where it's not really a matter of consent or non-consent, it just is like it's the water, as it were, and you're the fish, and like slavery exists. And it's really not a matter of like consent or non-consent. Like if you're a slave, then you have no concept of freedom, because you're like, well, it's just not for me. It's like that's not who we are. That's not what we do. So yeah, in that sense, like I think that's a fair point. But sure, I guess technically you could say if it's forced employment without money, although you are rewarded shelter and food and whatever the fuck else. But yeah, I guess that's slavery. Sure.
Yeah, there's a threat of force. Somebody owns you, and if you even if you try to leave, then they're going to force you to stay. That's slavery. The whole idea is that there's a threat of force, coercion behind the transaction. But if there's no threat of force behind the transaction and you're choosing to work there, and you could leave.
Oh no, it's still a plantation,
and it's not
they
slavery.
Still have regular slaves. They have regular slaves, and they don't let anybody escape, and they treat them all terribly. Why can't you?
Wait, what do you mean not let anyone? Wait. Let
me join this.
Not let anyone escape.
Let me join this.
Not let anyone escape. That's slavery. I'm talking about not being
so
forced.
Why can't you just walk into some place and be like, "Hey, I want to be a slave too"?
Because if you say I want to do this, no one's enslaving you. The only time,
so basically, but as
for
soon
someone
as you
to enslave
to
you,
that,
someone has to force you.
So you're kind of a slave at that point, right?
If you can leave, then you're not a slave. If you have the right to leave,
no, I'm
you're not
saying
a slave.
they treat you if they treat the volunteer just the same as all the other slaves.
Do you have the right to leave?
All of a sudden, they're not a slave.
Do you have the right to leave?
If you say never leave, that's by definition.
Do you have
slavery.
the right to
if
leave?
If walks into your house and you lock the door and say you cannot leave, you're enslaving them. You're kidnapping them.
Yeah. So do you have the right to leave?
Well, no. If you voluntarily,
this is what this all hinges on, right? Whether or not you have the right to leave, right? Yes.
Well, no, because the person that like I think to stretch its premise, you could say that like someone who, for whatever fucked up reason, says I want to volunteer to become a slave, and no, you don't have the right to leave.
If they chose to leave, would they have the right to leave?
No.
No? Okay, then they are being enslaved.
No, you'd be with everybody.
So then they are being enslaved. If they do have the right to leave, then it's not slavery.
Wait, but
so you can technically volunteer to be a slave.
No, because it's not. You're not volunteering because you're there. You can't leave. It's very easy.
No. Okay, but if you volunteer to enter an engagement where you can't leave, you voluntarily do this for whatever weird fucking reason.
Okay, I'll give you the definition of voluntary. Done by one's free will without coercion, force, or fraud. If there is a coercion in the transaction saying if you do leave, I am going to do X to you, then there is a threat of coercion. That is not voluntary by definition. Look, I'll read it again. Done by one's free will without without coercion, force, or fraud. If there's no coercion, force, or fraud, then it's not slavery. It is voluntary. If there is coercion, force, or fraud, then it is slavery. Very easy, very simple.
But simple also is this. If a person volunteers, like I said, for whatever fucked up reason, they say, I voluntarily enter this situation.
Okay. Is there coercion, force, or fraud?
If you cannot leave and you voluntarily go into it,
is there
are you still a
coercion,
slave?
Force, or fraud in the transaction?
Argument against it.
No, the person is volunteering into it.
No, there's no. Wait. Answer yes. Okay, I just want a yes or no to this. Is there coercion, force, or fraud? Yes or no?
To enter into the transaction? No, not in my not in my situation.
In the transaction, is there coercion, force, or fraud? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so then it's not slavery. There you go. Thank you.
But once,
it's voluntary.
But once you're in it, then once you're in.
Okay, so when you're in it, so then we'll do it again. Once you're in it, is there coercion, force, or fraud?
There's force.
Okay, so then it is involuntary. Wow. There you go.
I feel like you're pretending
listen, you can argue. That's the definition of it, of voluntary. You don't like it, argue with the dictionary.
Alright, well, you should argue with a bag of fucking helium, because that's what you've been doing, apparently. Listen,
be mad at the dictionary. Don't be mad at me.
No, I'm mad at helium because that's what it sounds like you've been fucking.
I mean, you could be all upset all you want. You lost the debate. I literally gave you the definition. That's fine.
I'm mad at helium.
You could make fun of my voice all you want, but it doesn't change the fact you lost the debate. Got you.
Oh, debate me, bro.
Debate me, bro.
No, I don't think you won the debate, dude.
Okay, so we'll go back to it.
You're like a
in the
pigeon,
transaction, is there coercion, force, or fraud? Yes or no?
There's no fucking way to get to the bottom of this if you keep interrupting.
So then there you go.
Constantly.
So then
you're doing it. There you go.
You're not going by the transaction. You're not going by the
dictionary.
You're not going by the definition of voluntary.
The reason why you interrupt is because the biggest threat to your existence is me getting to the end of my sentence. Okay? Because if I get to the end of my sentence, you're fucking doomed. So you too.
I let you go to the end of your sentence, so I guess I'm not that scared.
Well, no, ironically, timing.
Yeah, but some other asshole was not talking.
Oh, incarnation is. Oh, I haven't muted on my end. That must have been last time because he was blabbering on. All right, incarnation, what do you got to say?
I was just gonna say, couldn't you reasonably argue that every transaction has a force factor?
No. If I give you X for X and I say yeah and you say yeah, then that's not, there's no coercion, force, or fraud in the transaction, correct?
But that's contingent that you're being honest. And if you're not being honest, then what's the repercussions of it?
Being honest. I'm in the hypothetical. I am being honest. I'm giving you. I'm saying, hey, here's my rock. I'm showing you the rock. Here's your $20. Here you go. Transaction.
Right, but I'm assuming, I'm assuming based on your libertarian values that you acquired that through just means, right? I don't know that you did, so I'm. But
that's a different argument. Now you're changing the goalpost. Yes, you are. Well, because before you were saying whether or not it's a voluntary transaction if two people transact something, and I gave you a situation where it is possible for two people to voluntary transaction. Now you're switching the goalpost. Oh well, I don't know where you got that thing. Okay,
no, every voluntary,
then I'll change the hypothetical.
Even voluntary transactions
then I'll change the hypothetical.
Factor.
We got two private property owners that both got their thing from voluntary transaction or original appropriation. They both, I have this rock that I got through homesteading. You have this money that you got through working, and then you go, here, it's $20.
How do I
Here's
know?
The rock.
Okay, so I'm gonna push you. How you say you've got your rock through homesteading? How do I know you got your rock through homesteading?
Because the hypothetical said so.
Well, I don't know.
When the hypothetical that's the hypothetical.
Well, so. I'm playing your hypothetical. I'm an agent in your hypothetical, and I'm arguing with you.
Okay, so that agent, you're the agent. I go up to the agent,
and this
I'm like, here's my evidence, agent.
Rock is saying, hey, how did you acquire this rock through just?
Yeah,
means?
so I go up to you and I show you the evidence, and then there you go.
Through just means.
Yeah, so I get up to you, I go up to you, and I show you the evidence. Boom, there you go.
Okay, so what would be evidence?
So is that a voluntary? Wait. Is that a voluntary transaction? No,
yes,
you didn't even answer my question. You didn't answer my question.
Hypothetical. I'm not done the hypothetical.
But did you answer the hypothetical? You didn't answer the hypothetical.
Yes, I'm answering the hypothetical.
I will answer your hypothetical as soon as you answer my hypothetical.
Dude, bro, I'm in your hypothetical.
As soon as you're able to answer my hypothetical, I will answer your hypothetical.
I want to buy a rock from KingSithis, and I want to make sure that KingSithis acquired that rock through just means.
Yeah, like I said, as soon as you answer my hypothetical, I answer your hypothetical.
I am answering the hypothetical.
Not. Did you say yes or no to the hypothetical? What was the answer?
I don't need to answer hypotheticals.
Okay,
yes
so then
no.
You didn't answer the hypothetical. Okay, got you.
Well, yes, I don't need to answer.
So why should I answer your hypothetical if you can't answer mine?
I'm not presenting a hypothetical. I'm in your hypothetical. I'm an agent in your hypothetical.
I presented a hypothetical and you're not answering it.
Okay, so let's restart your hypothetical.
Okay, so the hypothetical is I have a rock that I homesteaded through voluntary transaction, right? And I have evidence that I got it, and I transact that thing with you for $20.
Okay, and I'm asking you what the evidence is. I'm
asking
so
you're not gonna. Okay,
what is
so
the evidence?
You're not engaging with my hypothetical.
Well, I'm asking what would be evidence.
The hypothetical is that there is evidence.
Well, okay, so I'm asking what the evidence would be.
I have video evidence that I homesteaded it. There you go.
So you homesteaded from where? How did you acquire the land?
The video shows where I homesteaded it.
But yeah, but where did you homestead?
In Alaska.
How do I know that's actually your land?
Because I showed you the GPS coordinates.
But how do I know you actually acquired that land?
Because I showed you the video of it.
A video of what?
Of me homesteading it.
But I don't know that you're homesteading your land.
I did. You do. I showed you the video.
A video of what?
Of me homesteading it.
But I don't know that's you're homesteading your land. That could be your neighbor's land. I don't know. That could be anybody's land. How do I know that's your land?
I showed you the video and the GPS coordinates.
But none of that is evidence that you actually own that land.
It is evidence. It's video. It's literally video. So what evidence?
Video of you.
So what evidence do you need to prove that I homesteaded it? What evidence do you need?
Well, because I'm trying to make a legitimate transaction.
Okay, so you don't have any way to prove. So you don't have any way to prove whether you own something,
right? Because you have no way of actually proving that. Okay, so let's say I work.
I went to the store. I bought a receipt. I got something. I got the receipt, and then they give me the receipt. you could check it with the store and everything, and it's perfectly legitimate. Now what?
Okay, so you bought a rock, and now you're selling me a rock that you bought. So you're selling me something used.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you're saying,
perfect.
here you go, here's $20 for the rock. That's a consensual transaction, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're admitting that consensual transactions are possible, right? Under my system, right?
Well, because I've removed the possibility of fraud. I don't need to apply force.
Oh, so fraud
fraud
fraud never happens under the state, right?
I don't see how that's relevant to what we're talking right now.
Yeah, but you're acting like fraud is unique to my system, where it's
no,
happens
I'm not.
under your system
I'm just saying that every transaction, voluntary or not, has a force factor associated to it.
Except for that one, right? Except for the one that I just brought up, right? Even you literally just
because there's no need for it. Because
okay, so then you're going back. So then you're going back on what you just said before. So that was an involuntary transaction.
Well, no, because you use the force factor of the state in order to substantiate your evidence.
But there, hold on. I bought it from a store. I showed you a receipt for the store. You're admitting, you said it is a voluntary transaction. Now that I got you in the corner, now you're going back on it because now you're realizing, oh shit, I admitted that voluntary transactions can happen. Now you're going back on it. Yeah, you are going back on it.
No, I don't, because the store is an agent of the state. The store is legit. It has permits. It's a legit store.
Yeah, so you're going back on. So there was a legitimate. So it was a legitimate transaction. So it was a legitimate transaction. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So legitimate transactions are possible. I got you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for proving my point.
But
okay. Thank you for proving my point. Okay, thank you very much.
That wasn't your point.
It was your point. Your argument, literally from the beginning, is. Actually, how do you know whether or not a transaction is voluntary or not voluntary? And then I give you criteria, and then you admit it. Yeah, that is voluntary. So you can't figure out. So you are perfectly capable. So you are perfectly capable. You are perfectly capable of figuring out whether or not it is a voluntary transaction or not a voluntary transaction. I mean, you could say I'm stupid, but you literally agreed with me. You literally agreed with me. So you could call me stupid after the fact, but you agreed with me.
Okay, KingSithis.
You didn't agree with me? You didn't agree with me?
If you go to the store and you buy something, did you home? Hey, retard! If you go to the store and you buy something, did you homestead it? Did you homestead it? Did you homestead the store to get your fucking product? Great, exactly. So it's a legitimate transaction. But if you're gonna tell me you homesteaded something, then I'm gonna question where the fuck you got your shit because it's illegitimate.
I showed you. I literally showed you video evidence of me homesteading it, the GPS coordinates and everything. That's not good enough for you?
That's your land.
Okay.
You could be doing that on Jim Bob's land. Okay. I have no idea whose land you're doing that on. Your GPS coordinates could be for Jim Bob's land. How do I know you're not stealing Jim Bob's rock and then trying to sell it to me?
That's what you believe, man.
Right.
Even though, so even though I showed you, video evidence, I showed you GP evidence.
Fucking bullshit. Right there.
So I literally showed you video evidence.
Right there, bro.
So even though I've showed you video evidence, GPS evidence, all this evidence doesn't matter to you. Oh, you didn't homestead it.
Guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can I ask a simple question? Why do you talk about the homesteading part? Can't you just like give away a hair, for example? I can sell you my hair for like $2. Isn't that a voluntary transaction? Like why?
Well, that's voluntary transaction.
Yeah, like what's the whole deal about it? How can there be a voluntary transaction? Like,
because he doesn't believe he believes it's impossible to choose. Like, okay, so homesteading is basically the idea of if you're the first comer to a. If you're the first comer to a good, which means like if there's unowned land and then you say you cut down a stick from a spear and turn it into a spear, right? What we argue is that thing is yours because you cut it down from a stick. And he's saying that, oh my god, how do I know if you cut it down from a stick? And then I'm like, okay, well I showed you evidence. I showed you GPS evidence. I showed you GPS evidence. I showed you video evidence. And somehow that's not enough for your puny brain to comprehend, it seems.
Well, I think it's like the God debate. Like, unless you can prove that it belongs to somebody else, then you can't really call it fraud or involuntary that he took a rock from somewhere, right? It would be the owner to come and tell you, hey, that's mine. Then
that's very true. Unless you have evidence that I stole it, you're making an accusation without any evidence, right?
Yeah, like why are you putting the burden of proof on him?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You are.
No, not at all. Because if you're saying that homesteading is a means to acquire property, okay, then that means you have to assure that the property doesn't belong to somebody else.
Okay, so do you have evidence that they stole it?
Then
do you have evidence that you're the one making the claim that it's stolen, right?
And the assumption that property always belongs to somebody else before.
Asking for a legitimate transaction.
Oh, well, if you, why should I have to prove? Why should I have to prove? Why should I have to prove that to you?
Listen, if I'm
unless you're
buying
making
a
an
car
accusation, I don't have to
Dude,
prove
if
that to
I'm
you.
buying a car from somebody, okay, and I ask them where they purchased the car,
Do they have to tell you?
They tell me no, I am not buying that car. But if they present me evidence, such as receipts that they bought the car from the dealer...
Wait, but if they say no, does that automatically mean they stole it?
They've been doing services on it.
But if they said no, does that automatically mean that they stole it?
Substantiating that this person actually purchased this car.
Yeah, but does it? If they said no, does it automatically mean that they stole it? Like, are you just gonna automatically assume that they stole it? It's like, I don't have the receipt. Oh, yep, he stole it.
Well,
is that what you think?
It's certainly going to be a factor in whether or not I'm making an ethical decision.
So
it's going to be a factor
do you have the receipt for the? Are you wearing a T-shirt right now, Incarnation?
Am I wearing a T-shirt right now? Yeah.
Do you have the receipt for it?
No.
So you stole it?
No.
So do you have the receipt? Show me the receipt.
I can show bank statements.
What if you didn't have the bank statements?
I can show bank statements.
So every single item, every single item in your house,
because I purchased things.
So every single item in your house,
every
single item in your house, you have bank statements for.
On debit. Yeah.
Every single item in your house.
Absolutely, yeah.
Every single one.
But King, do you know what the problem is? That Incarnation is saying that only the state can provide receipts. He doesn't think that you can make a receipt voluntarily.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard him, but that's crazy. Actually, that's even crazier.
You can make a receipt voluntarily, but it doesn't really substantiate that you actually own the item that you're selling.
Do you have evidence that they stole it?
If you were to make your own random ass receipt saying, "Yeah, I purchased this car. Here's a receipt I made that I purchased this car 5 years ago," then it doesn't substantiate that you actually purchased.
Yeah, but it doesn't substantiate that they stole it, neither.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter if you're making the accusation. If you're accusing somebody of theft, yeah, it does matter.
But also
I'm not accusing anybody.
It's called the burden of proof.
Incarnation. If just a civilian writes a receipt, and it doesn't give any legitimacy, then the state writing a receipt also doesn't give any legitimacy. Like, how do you configure the legitimacy of a document? Does it have to be the state? Like, why are you making up this
What if the state lies?
Okay, so if I purchase something from somebody, okay, and I have a receipt, what that receipt allows me to do is it allows me to approach the state and say that this person wronged me, so I can send them to court. And because the state has established a standard that people have to abide by to sort of make sure that we can resolve these conflicts fairly efficiently, then I can say that this person is in breach of those standards that we have decided to abide by. Like, it's really that simple.
What if I told you that by Sharia law,
the receipt in and of itself, the receipt in and of itself is an acknowledgement that the state recognizes property rights to begin with.
Okay, but give me 1 second. Like, what if I told you that by Sharia law, the birth certificate of my daughter says I own her and I can sell her? Would you agree that the state? Do you think that that's the case?
Yeah, because Islam. Yeah, because Islam is a theocratic political religion that aims
but do you think that's legitimate? So for yourself, anyone who can impose violence is legitimizing a document, basically. So if I can protect my property with violence,
let me ask you this.
Slavery. Well, actually, he's actually not against slavery. He's not against. Incarnation's not against slavery.
Hey, let me ask you this question. Okay, let me ask you this question. If I'm against slavery, does it prevent slavery from being legal in Islam?
Not if you can't protect what you own, but that doesn't mean that something is legitimate.
No, fundamentally,
but that doesn't make it right.
I'm against slavery,
so slavery's okay then.
Slavery.
Oh, so that slavery's okay then.
Why to tell a Muslim that slavery is wrong if their religion is telling them
they are wrong? Because they are wrong.
Well,
are they
not
wrong?
The religion tells them they're right.
But they are wrong. Are they not wrong?
What you're saying is that as long as they can force it, basically impose it by violence, they are right. That's what you're saying, right?
So long as you're implying, because we're asking, what do you believe? What should be moral? Is it just because it's the state they can define whatever they want, and you would be okay with it? What do you think?
It's like basically if somebody came and raped you, you're like okay because they can impose it by force, right?
Well, okay. There's a few normative statements that need to be said here. Okay. If somebody has the force to rape me. Okay, let's say we'll talk might. We want to might rape. Well, if somebody has the might to rape me, the only way I can defend myself is by applying more might than they have. Agreed?
Yes. And it doesn't have to be the state. It can be a mafia. It can be a bully. It can be your own shotgun at your house. I don't know if the state legitimizes anything.
We agree that at the end of the day, the only way to counter force is with more force.
Yeah, but doesn't have to be the state.
Okay.
And the state doesn't make anything legitimate. So I don't know why you use the word legitimate there.
But as soon as you have a group of people who come together and make some formalized or some central authority, you have a government, and then as soon as you add boundaries to what that government controls, you have a state.
What does that have to do with legitimacy? Like, a mafia can do the same thing. A theocratic state can do the same thing. I can do the same thing.
Okay, if let's say a theocratic government, such as like an Islamic style theocratic government, were to take place, well then the right in this case would be that it's okay to marry 9-year-old girls, and that it's okay to have slaves, and that it's okay to have 4 wives, and that it's okay to beat your wife.
Yeah, but I don't think of okay and legitimate is the word.
Incarnation, you know I'm live streaming, right? I just want to let you know that.
Okay, my apologies. Sorry.
No, I don't have a problem with you saying that, but I'm just want to make sure that you're okay with saying that on my live stream for all to hear that, right?
Well, for me to call what Islam is, yes.
No, but what he, okay, well, can I jump in real quick? What Ozzy isn't saying this is what Muslims believe. What he is saying is if Muslims were in power as of right now, let's say Islam were to take over America and change the law so that people can have sex with 9-year-olds, would you say that that's legitimate?
That's legitimate or
under your personal opinion, would you consider that? Would you personally consider that to be legitimate? Would you be like, that's the law, so therefore it's okay, or would you be like, oh fuck, this is really fucked up, I don't support this?
Okay, so if
which one would you choose?
Okay, let me ask. I just want to clarify. If you're asking me legitimate, as if there's somehow a majority swing in the United States where
no, what I'm saying is.
No, I'm asking. I have to clarify this. If you're saying that the majority of Americans want Sharia law, okay, and that's the direction that the majority of Americans want to go.
Yeah. Let's say hypothetically, Islam becomes the dominating power in America, and then they like somehow take control over the United States. Most people support it or whatever. It's in a democracy. Yeah. Would you consider that personally to be legitimate if they supported marrying off 9-year-olds? Would you be like, oh, that's a legitimate law and hey, nothing I can do? Or would you fight against it and say, no, I don't support this, I don't consider this to be legitimate?
Well, again, if the country turns to Sharia law, I don't have the right to even say that it's wrong, right? That's problem number one.
No, I'm asking your opinion. You have an opinion on the matter, right? You're not going to be okay with that, right?
Again, if you're asking me what's legit or what's morally or ethically wrong,
I'm asking if you would personally. If you're asking
me personally, of course, I would personally think it's wrong, but that's irrelevant to what the state institutes.
No, but why don't you use the word that you're using all this time and say if it's legitimate?
We're not talking about right. We're talking about would you consider it to be legitimate? Would you consider it to be legitimate?
Would I consider a law that the majority of the base population voted in concurrence for? Yeah, I would have to say it's legitimate.
I don't know why you say majority, because sometimes the power can be held in very few hands, right? You said that might makes power, might makes right, not that majority. I
didn't say might makes right. I didn't say.
You said that's what we're asking you.
Exactly. That's it. But you exactly what you said. You said that might was the only thing that you got. Force was the only thing that contract force. And my point is, force is not always held by the majority. You can have a very small, theocratic, for example, Islam, very small government. 3 or 4 people deciding. Maybe theocratic Islam don't like democracy, They don't like women voting, for example. So I don't know why you're sleeping the word. Wait. Let me finish. I don't know why you're sleeping.
Hold on, let him go, please.
Let me finish. I don't know why you're sleeping the word majority here now in your argument. If the majority voted, nobody said anything about voting. Nobody said anything about voting.
Well, I did.
That if it became legal in the United States.
He just said, though, he literally just said, if people in the United States decided to say that we're going the way of Islam, then yes, I would have to say that that's legitimate, regardless of whether or not
under your purview.
Agree. Yeah, I would have to say that that's legitimate, regardless of if
and you would support
it or not.
And you would be okay with it?
No, but it's irrelevant because.
Support it. What?
Huh? You would support it?
I get your point that it's irrelevant, but I think that the word illegitimate there doesn't really go. You can say.
If you don't support it, then I would hope you wouldn't consider it to be legitimate. So, for instance, what we're trying to say is Here's what we're trying to say, Incarnation, and Ozzy, correct me if I'm wrong, right? If the government were to be taken over by Muslims, and tomorrow they said you're allowed to marry 9-year-olds. Me and Ozzy would say that is not a legitimate law. We do not support that law. This government is not legitimate. Whereas you would say, I may not support it, but they're legitimate, so nothing I can do.
So you've changed the hypothetical here. So if you're saying that radical Muslims somehow took over the United States without a democratic election and just
with a democracy,
the US,
with a democracy,
then yes, with a democracy, if the majority of Americans voted to install Sharia law, then I would have to say that it is legitimate.
So
I don't understand what's hard to understand about that.
So if I was in that situation, I would say no. That's not legitimate. You know why? Because the state does not have the right to marry off 9-year-olds. Whereas you, so long as the majority says it's okay to marry off 9-year-olds, they're completely legitimate under your purview.
The problem is, even though you're also saying it's not legitimate, it would still happen regardless because the majority also thinks it's legitimate.
That doesn't make it right.
Yeah, he's not saying it makes it right. But
he says he makes it legitimate.
Even if you were like, it's illegitimate, you can't do that, people are still going to do it because of, just...
We're not disagreeing with that. We're not disagreeing that if the government is being taken over by another person, that they're going to do what they want. What we're asking is, would you consider it to be a legitimate government? And I would never consider a government that is okay with raping or marrying off children to be legitimate. I would never consider it to be legitimite. A legitimate government. As in, it doesn't represent me. That government does not represent me. You're not my government.
You're saying literally the exact same thing. You just don't realize it. You're just
you just don't get it.
Yeah,
legitimacy is when people
basically have the same argument. It's just you're changing the words like slightly.
They're a criminal organization.
Some outcome.
Yeah, they're a criminal organization. They're not a state.
Right? He thinks that
even if you're like it's not legitimate, they're still going to do it under your hypothetical.
Again, we don't disagree with you on that. The only argument that we're making is that from our view, we do not consider governments that say it's okay to marry off 9-year-olds to be legitimate. We would not consider it to be legitimate. We would not support it. We would not want to pay taxes to a government that does that. And you're saying that it is legitimate. You're saying, hey, that's a perfectly
you're conflating.
fine.
You're conflating your ethics frameworks here, right? You're applying the wrong ethics framework to the wrong fucking place. Like that's your issue. If you're saying that the majority, if we're talking democracy and the will of the people, and that we have to accept some level of democracy, then if the majority of people vote in Sharia law, then the majority of people, that's what they want.
The majority of then they're okay. Then it's legitimate.
If you're saying that, let's say that 75% of Americans vote in Sharia law, okay, and that somehow there's another civil war, and that the remaining 25% splinter off and go elsewhere, and they don't accept Sharia law. Well, that's what would happen. I'm okay with that.
Okay,
but if you're going to tell me that the rest
right?
isn't legitimate,
hold on, you understand that there's a difference
because the people voted in for it. Right, but you understand that, right? Like if the people...
I do understand this. We do understand this. Nobody disagrees. Nobody in this argument disagrees, right? That if somebody takes over the government, they could do what they want with you, and saying they're not legitimate isn't gonna change it. We all agree with that, right? The only difference, the only disagreement that we have is that we would not consider that to be legitimate, whereas you would consider it to be legitimate. That's the only disagreement that we have here. Now, go ahead, Ozzy.
That's what he does, though. That's what he does. Because when he has weak arguments, he tries to Andrew Wilson his way through shit by like getting really technical.
Okay, I got you. You think it's okay to marry off 9-year-olds as long as the government says it's okay?
No,
got you.
I don't think it's okay. But it's...
You never said that.
Oh, sorry. That it's legitimate. That it's legitimate. Got you. Marrying off 9-year-olds is perfectly legitimate so long as the government says so. Got you.
I agree that the word legitimate there is kind of weird.
Is it okay?
Can I ask
no, it's pretty, that's his words. It's legitimate. Go ahead, Ozzy.
Incarnation, can you tell me an example of something that is not legitimate? Because apparently for you, legitimate is the same thing as like I can change the way it happens. I wonder what's not legitimate for you. Something that would not be legitimate. Because for you, a receipt that has no proof or something like basically a receipt is not proof enough, but like for something to be a property, but legitimacy apparently is like you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, look, I'm gonna tell you this. If I go, okay, so look, if I go to purchase a property and the only evidence that somebody can present to me that they actually own the property is a video and a GPS location, then that isn't evidence that you own.
Yeah, but I would just want an example of something that is not legitimate.
That isn't
evidence.
evidence.
An example of something that is not legitimate.
You're crazy.
Evidence that you own anything, right?
All
Like
can you, please? I don't know if you understood my question. I just want an example of something that is not legitimate, so I understand your concept of legitimacy. Because I feel like that word we are throwing it around and nobody is good by defining it.
So
defining it would be helpful.
So flat Earth is not legitimate. Religion is not legitimate. Islam is not legitimate. Christianity is not legitimate.
Basically, you think legitimate is true. Basically, you think
wait, you said that Islam would be religion.
That you're entitled to.
It's back.
But you said Islam would be legit if the
government.
So if the government was taken over by Islam, you said it was legitimate. So it only becomes legitimate
You guys are literally
when it's
arguing.
taken over by the government? Is that your argument?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right definition of legitimate, but I don't know if we have a...
You guys can't, you're arguing, you guys are making arguments and you guys can't even agree on a definition. That's the problem.
Like,
so you guys
right,
got to
what's
fight
the
over the
difference?
definition of legitimate.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't mean just true. It means something
definition of legitimate.
Legitimate literally means conforming to rules. So if the majority of people vote in Sharia law,
I would not
is it
want
legitimate?
to conform to those rules. We would not conform to those rules. I would not conform to those rules, no. Yeah, the issue is I would not conform to those rules.
Dude.
Listen, hold on. Legitimate, listen, I'll read the definition to you. Legit, conforming to rules, principles, accepting standards, especially in terms of law, morality, rightful authority. If the government tomorrow says it's okay to marry off children as 9-year-olds, I would say, no, they are not legitimate. I will not accept their principles. I will not accept their rules. I am not going to accept their standards or terms of law, morality, or rightful authority. I am not accepting that.
Okay, but
now that's perfectly legitimate.
Society, that's a lawful rule.
Okay. That's fine. I literally read you the definition, so I mean, you're arguing with like now we're no longer talking about a personal opinion. Now we're talking about legitimate fact, which is the fact is legitimate literally means conforming to rules, principles, accepted standards, especially in terms of law, morality, and rightful authority.
Basically, we can say that incarnation's definition of legitimacy is whatever the government considers.
All right, now you're arguing against the facts.
Yeah. So again, if you're asking me that people collectively voted in democratically a Sharia government, is that a legit government? Then yes, that is a legit government. Because even by my rules, even by my rules of democracy, right? Even by my rules of democracy,
government doesn't respect the rights that come.
My God!
But incarnation,
why the fuck
saying that
did you just
basically
interrupt me? Why the fuck did you just interrupt?
Hold on, let incarnation go. Guys, let's let incarnation go. Let's incarnation go, please. Go ahead.
Look,
go ahead.
If you want me to see something as legitimate, okay, I would have to see some form of will from the people. And if the people overwhelmingly voted in Sharia law, you're asking me whether or not that is a legit government, then yes, that is a legitimate government. Whether or not I agree with the principles and the values of that government are irrelevant. They are a legit government.
No, those are his words, guys. That's his words.
I think literally certain actions could be legitimate, but other actions.
Okay, that's fine. You can argue against the dictionary definition all you want. That's fine.
No, he's using the definition correctly. I
agree with him. I just think
I don't think he's using it correctly.
You're not using it correctly.
I think
that if you think something is legitimate, you're conforming to rules, principles, and accepting standards, especially in terms of law, morality, and rightful authority. You're saying that's a rightful authority.
Right, and by my standards, if people, okay, if by my standards, for me to view a country as legitimate, the majority of the people would have to agree on some basic standard. So if the majority of the people agree on Sharia law, then yes, I have to see it as legitimate. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with this.
I get it.
That's crazy. I think that's crazy.
Marrying 9-year-olds is perfectly legitimate.
Yeah, because you're saying that basically you don't have any other moral, because it says conforming to rules, and what you're telling us basically you don't have any other rules in your
rules. Who am I to go to a Middle Eastern country and say they have to abide by my rules?
Wait. So if you saw somebody raping a 9-year-old girl, you would be like, who am I to tell them not to do it?
Well, I certainly wouldn't go to Saudi Arabia and tell the fucking Saudi.
No, but if you had it in front of you, happen, under what principle will you do it?
Like, fuck, I'm certainly not going to go to a Middle Eastern country where it's legal and tell them not to do it. Like, what do you want me to do?
Wow.
Nobody said that you had to do something about it. You know, finding it wrong is okay.
You're trying to imply some like awful morality on me. But I'm saying that if I go to a Middle Eastern country where that is allowed, your expectation is that I now have to go attack the government or whatever institution.
Nobody's telling you to attack a government. Nobody is telling you. We're just telling you to disavow marrying off 9-year-olds. You're not capable of disavowing it.
He already did disavow it. What are you talking about?
He said that the governments that marry off 9-year-olds is perfectly legitimate under his personal purview. So
I'm not even saying that incarnation is wrong. I'm just saying that it's pretty clear that he doesn't have any other rules to conform to. That whatever the majority
review.
That whatever the majority chooses, which is pretty lame in my opinion, but that's his personal opinion, and in that sense, he's logically consistent.
Legitimate,
I'm just saying he's wrong.
Conforming to the laws or the rules. So if you have
but it doesn't have to be.
I would not conform to those laws. I would not conform to them. Would you conform to those laws? Would you conform to those rules?
Reading the definition.
Would you conform to those rules? Would you conform to those rules?
It doesn't have to be only government rules, bro.
We did.
The definition. Okay.
It doesn't say government rules. It can be any rules, moral rules, principles, guidelines. Even fucking Discord had rules, bro.
Terms for law, morality, and rightful authority. Conforming to rules,
it's
principles, and accepted conforming to rules, principles, or accepted standards, especially in terms of law, morality, and rightful authority.
So, KingSithis, let me ask you this, KingSithis. Is there some form of final authority on what is moral or what is not?
The non-aggression principle.
That is not.
I'm the final authority. I'm the final authority.
It is not the final authority. It isn't the final authority.
I am.
Right. So you have no legitimate authority to anything that what you're saying right now. It's all just.
I'm not saying I do. I'm not saying I do.
But you know what you're saying is the same thing, right? Incarnation, because the majority also doesn't hold any. It's only who is in power. That's not always the majority. I'm just saying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What you're saying has exactly the same legitimacy as what KingSithis is saying, because the majority doesn't always hold the power, you know?
Oh, is Egypt a legit... Let me ask you this. Is Egypt a country?
I don't give a fuck, bro.
Is Egypt a legit country?
I don't give a fuck about the, you know?
Right, so is Egypt a legit country?
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about it.
Right, answer the question. Is Egypt a legit country?
I think it's actually.
They call it a country.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Egypt.
Yeah.
I
learned that in school. Do you think defining something as a country gives you like some moral
how convenient? Do you think Oman is a real country? Do you think Saudi Arabia is a real country?
Legitimate country.
Wait, can I ask you one last question? I got one last question. Is that okay?
They're on a map.
Is that okay? Let's say there's a country and a government and the majority of the people wanted to redefine rape as consensual sex, and now anyone who wants to rape somebody is now considered consensual sex. Would you consider that to be legitimate?
This is literally the same argument you keep.
I just want to see if you hold to it.
I think that argument's stalled already. Like I don't think it's like. I just think that the majority doesn't have any.
If you listen, yo, Oxy or Ozzy, let me finish this. I just wanted to say this one thing. Okay, so I'm looking at the definition of legitimate, conforming to the laws or to rules, right? So if you have a population conforming to the rules, it doesn't matter if you personally don't agree or disagree with those rules. Regardless of the fact that people are conforming, that is what makes something legitimate or not, right? So if you have a government and they have laws and those people are conforming to those laws willingly, then they are legitimate. Now that's the different argument, whether you agree with the morality of those rules or not, right? Legitimate, just in other words, legitimate could just simply mean established, right? It's established, it exists, therefore it is legitimate. Now, do you agree with the established rules is a different question. So you guys are like putting words in Incarnation's mouth saying he supports this when he really doesn't. He's just saying you guys are arguing over the definition of fucking legitimate.
So you're saying you can't consider something not to be legitimate. So if you could be like, so if I see the government like raping children and I say, wow, this is not a legitimate government, I would not consider them to be legitimate. You would say I'm wrong.
You don't agree with that, right? I think that's wrong too. But if
okay, so I would say I don't consider this thing to be legitimate, right?
Look, do you consider Pakistan Pakistan a legitimate country?
You guys are saying you guys are saying that you do consider that government to be legitimate, correct?
Is Pakistan a legitimate country?
I'm not. Oh, that's not an answer to my question. You guys are arguing that you do believe that it is. You do consider it to be legitimate, right?
I actually have to say that
legitimate is not the same thing as condoning.
Do you consider it? Listen to me. Do you consider that government to be legitimate? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I will never consider a government that thinks it's okay to marry off 9-year-olds to be legitimate. There's no argument you could give me that will make that so.
Let's answer a few questions here. Do you consider Pakistan to be a country?
I don't know.
For convenient. It's a yes or no question.
I don't know.
Consider Pakistan to
do
be
you
a
have
country?
evidence for it?
Do you consider Afghanistan to be a country?
I don't know.
Do
you consider Oman to be a country? Saudi Arabia?
I don't know.
Do you consider the United States to be a country?
I don't know.
Convenient, exactly.
Exactly. Bring the receipts, Incarnation.
Yeah, bring the receipt. Show me the receipt, Incarnation.
Exactly. The
receipt
for what?
There is a country. You have to show a receipt.
So nobody on my side. Nobody on my side of the aisle says that raping children is legitimate. Nobody on my side of the aisle has made the argument that raping children is legitimate. Whereas you guys, I can't make the same argument. I've read the. I've read it. We've read it out to you 20 times.
Embarrassing yourself.
Okay, that's fine. I have a very different point of KingSithis, by the way. My contention with Incarnation is only about the majority.
It's just well, you're not an Ancap like me. Come on, man.
Because first of all, Ancap is so low IQ that the only people it attracts are retards like KingSithis who just
retards
are so
like KingSithis.
So many
that's why you lose every debate against
literally
me.
everything that they.
That's why you lose every debate against me.
It's very funny, dude. You've never won a debate against me.
I've won every debate against you.
You guys do this every day.
Yes, we do it all the time. We do this all the time. We're friends. We go back for a while.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I don't know if he considers me a friend, but
I think you guys are.
My only point of contention with Incarnation is that he's adhering some legitimacy to the majority, and I do think that the majority is just as arbitrary and useless as a measure as an individual. So 100%. Yeah, we want to debate about that.
I think you guys are just getting butthurt and are conflating legitimacy with condoning. Like, just because something may be legitimate doesn't mean you automatically condone it.
No, but also when people ask you something,
you could consider something not to be legitimate, right? You could consider something not to be legitimate, right?
See, do you think that when people ask you if something is legitimate, they're asking you to count how many people conform, and if it's 51%, then you say yes, it's legitimate? No, they're not asking you that.
Context. Actually, it depends on respectfully, it depends on the context. So if you're asking whether or not a state is legitimate, then I would have to put some context to what legitimate means. So in that case, I would have to say that if the majority of people are conforming to what's going on, then yes, it is legitimate. In the sense
rules depend on the majority. I don't know why you have this leap of faith.
You guys are in a
majority. Like
you guys are in a debate channel. Do you guys understand how important the phrasing of words actually is in a debate? It's almost, they do it in law. Like when you look at like a text of law, a slight comma can completely change the meaning of a sentence, and oftentimes that's how they find loopholes, right? So if you read the definition underneath legitimate, it says justify or make lawful. So even if the country makes something lawful, they don't necessarily have to justify it. And under this definition, it's still legitimate. Just because they made it lawful.
Yeah, from your perspective. From your perspective.
No, that's the actual definition. You guys are in a debate. This is like philosophy 101.
I think Incarnation had a point when he said
philosophy 101. It's debate 101, and they have no idea.
You could consider something not to be legitimate, right?
You literally learn this in the first philosophy class you ever take. It's literally
so you're saying it's impossible. It's impossible to think that a government is illegitimate. If you think a government's illegitimate, then you're just crazy.
Hey, KingSithis, I have a question for you. Since you're a master debater, okay?
I love master debating. Huh?
What is epistemology?
Epistemology? Isn't that like the idea of like figuring out how much evidence you need to figure whether something is true or not?
The study of knowledge.
No, and the fact that you don't know what epistemology is in a debate channel is the sad part, and why I laugh at you every time I come into a VC.
I mean, you could say I'm stupid, you could say I'm this, but you got completely ass blasted in this debate, and now you're really upset, so you're throwing insults because you don't have an argument. It's okay. You think raping children is legitimate? Got you. It's fine. No, it's okay. You think raping children is legitimate? Got you.
You don't even know what epistemology is.
You don't even know what
You don't even know what epistemology is. I think that having sex with 9-year-olds is legitimate, so long as the government says it's okay.
Exactly.
I said it was okay.
KingSithis. Hold on, King. Remember, you were asked a question on YouTube, right? You believe in having sex with old women who died would be consensual, right? Logically consistent. You only give a argument for moral consideration only exists with personhood after sentience. Remember me from YouTube? I debated you, or not debated you, but
in my comment section.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. You're Christian, right?
Yes.
So if your God instructed you to rape a child, are you going to do it? Yes or no?
No, I'm not. But
okay, so then you don't believe in your God. You defied your God.
No,
I defied.
see, this guy.
No, hold on.
He has
hold
such
on.
a fucking got you.
Hold on.
He can't even. Okay, sorry.
Hold on.
I'm letting you speak.
Let me King finish, right? But if God exists and you agree God is the moral objective giver for morality being practiced,
I don't agree with that.
You and I would go. Wait, hold on. So
I'm not Christian.
The screenshot. Okay, it doesn't matter if God exists, right? And God is the rule giver, and you disobey. You and I committed wrongness.
So if your God so I just want a quick yes or no. So if your God instructed you to have sex with a child, are you going to do it? Yes or no?
No, I'm not. Are you going to do it?
So you're going to disobey God?
Wait,
it's the same God.
Yes, I'm not going to do it. Of course I'm not going to do it.
If your God...
Are you going to disobey God? Yes or no?
If your God told
Are you going to disobey your God? Yes or no?
Listen, I'm going to disobey. Are you going to disobey?
Yeah, I'm going to disobey because I don't believe in God.
Okay, it doesn't matter if you believe in God.
So then you don't believe in God. So you don't believe God. God isn't real. So you're going to disobey. So you're going to disobey your God. You're going to disobey your God.
It's not my God. If God exists, logically it follows you believe in God, right?
No, I don't. Listen, I don't believe in God. You're the one that believes in God, right?
You don't have to. You don't. If God, everyone listen closely. I'm going to give the argument.
Sure.
If God exists and God gives a moral objective code that we must live by, God is the moral rule giver. So if I disobey and you disobey, and everyone else here, guess what?
But you told me that you would disobey your God. But you told me that you would disobey your God if He told you to instruct.
Yes.
So why?
Yes. Would you?
So then you're disobeying your God. Yes, I would disobey God. Of course I would if He told me. If He instructed me to have sex with a kid, of course I wouldn't disobey Him. Of course.
Okay. What's
God isn't real. God isn't real.
Hold on.
Wait.
What is your qualifications to disobey God? What is the above rule?
What is your qualification for disobeying God?
Wait,
because you're going to disobey God too.
You got silent
because He isn't real.
Okay, cool. So what is the rule giver? If God exists,
I'm the rule giver.
Hold on. Exactly, you're God. Exactly.
Yes, I'm God.
Everyone.
And I'm against pedophilia. Yes.
Okay, cool. So you're God.
No, not if you're a dead body. You're not.
Exactly.
It's not that alive.
Exactly.
Whose rights are you violating?
I'm recording this. Everyone, listen closely.
So you're gonna disobey your God. Just wanna know that real quick. You're gonna disobey your God.
And so are you. And so are you.
I don't believe in God. So yeah, I guess so.
It doesn't matter because again, if God exists, you have to obey Him. If you don't,
why don't you obey Him? Then why don't you obey Him?
Because I just explained it to you on the YouTube server. I'm a sinful man.
YouTube server.
I'm a selfish person.
So you wouldn't. You're saying that you're criticizing. But wait, you're criticizing me for disobeying God, but you would disobey God too, wouldn't you? If He told you to do that.
Yes,
Penguin, come on.
So I'm not sure how that. Well, like where the criticism is.
Bro.
Sure. Okay, here's the criticism. Remember your date with CW? Remember that?
CW?
You just admitted.
Connor?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Connor.
Yeah.
Remember you admitted you can have sex with a dead body?
Yeah, so as long as you're not, as long as I don't give a fuck, is you're not violating anyone's rights. I do not think it's okay to violate people's rights. You're not violating anyone's rights.
And you can have sex with a animal, their property. Right?
Yeah, I don't care. Whereas you think you think it's okay to have sex with actual living human beings. If your God instructed you to.
No. You agree you can have sex with a 12-year-old. Remember he asked you that question?
Not a living one.
Okay, not a dead one, right?
So long as I don't give a shit. It's a dead body. Listen, a dead body is dead, so I don't give a shit what you do with it. A dead body's dead.
Hold on, everybody.
Whose rights are you violating?
Shut up. Everybody.
Yeah.
You can have sex with a...
What?
You know that my opinion is worth value, right?
Well,
yes.
Okay. You can have sex.
Everybody,
hold on. Whoa. Stop. Everybody stop 1 second. Everybody stop 1 second. I do want to hear Schizoid's opinion. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say, just to ease everyone's consciousness, that when a person
dies, that it's okay to have sex with
Can you stop
dead
interrupting?
Children.
You think it's okay to rape children so long as the government says it's okay?
You want to confirm that? You think it's legitimate to have sex with dead children?
You're kind of interrupting me.
You think it's legitimate?
May I have the floor?
All right, I'm gonna mute Incarnation and everybody who's speaking while you're speaking. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say, just to ease everyone's consciousness, that when a person dies, their body is now property to their family. So, you connect the dots there. No, we don't need to be fucking dead bodies, okay? Dead bodies are the property to their family.
Well, assuming that they have family.
Yeah.
I mean, but then they're gonna make. But hold on. But then they're gonna make. Yeah, but then they're gonna make. Hold on. Guys, I already know what you're gonna say. Don't worry. And you guys are gonna. Then they're gonna make the argument. Oh well, what if they don't have family? We're gonna have to bite that bullet, right? Is somebody else talking while he's talking, or Schizoid Man?
I just wanted to ease everyone's consciousness, like. We take these examples to the extreme, but we don't realize the real world implication of the non-aggression principle working in reality.
Okay.
Yeah, even if somebody wants to.
All right, I'm unmuting everybody now.
Okay,
cool.
I just wanted to at least allow him to speak because I know you guys were kind of letting him go, so that's why. Now go ahead.
Well, you'd probably just everyone knows that
99.9% of the time, right? Their people have family members, so their family dead body is probably going to transfer to that person's family. So
doesn't matter if it's a 99.09%.
Well, I don't believe in the Abrahamic God, so your God almost genocided the entire human race in your biblical canon.
Can I ask a really fucked up question?
Sure, you can ask whatever you want.
Really?
As long as long as it doesn't violate YouTube's guidelines. I'll put that caveat in there.
So, if your child dies, right? Like, let's say your daughter dies, and she's just a child. You're saying it's okay to fuck that body?
Nobody's.
Yeah, that body.
No, we're not saying it's okay. Hold on, we're not saying it's okay in the sense that. Do you want to hear the answer?
Yeah, not okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna mute Attic.
Yes, I want to hear the answer. So shut the fuck up and let King fucking say something.
So when we don't believe that it's right in the sense that people should do that, or we think it's okay for people to do that, but the only thing that we're acknowledging is that you're not violating anyone's rights because there's no person there that is alive to have the rights being violated. So a dead body to me is no different than a rock or a dead squirrel.
But are you still not? Hold on. No. The follow-up question is: are you still not fucking your own daughter though?
Not.
What the fuck? We just explained it very clearly.
I just explained it to you very clearly.
Same thing.
Clear as daylight, and you're.
Dan is doing to you. You were doing to Incarnation.
Okay, so you're asking me the question again. I've answered the question, so I'm not going to answer it again. I believe you have pretty good intelligence and are able to make out from that what I believe.
Yeah, true. But King, everyone listen closely. King doesn't want to say, yes, I can fuck my daughter who died, when she's dead. He doesn't want to say that, so I'll say it for him. But he wants you to come up with the conclusion.
Dude, he doesn't want to fuck his daughter,
that's
bro.
what he's saying. That's
Wait,
what
did
he
I?
is.
When did
He
it?
thinks
When
it's
in this
legitimate.
conversation?
That
When in
is
this
what he's
conversation?
saying.
Legitimate.
That is
on.
what he's
Thinks
saying, though.
That he thinks it's
When in
legitimate.
this conversation did I say that I
Yes.
think it's okay to do that? When?
Yes, logically.
When did I say
consistent-
do that?
Yeah.
That I think that's good.
Can I ask a question?
Well, you're saying if you're not harming
Okay.
anybody, you can
If
do
you
whatever
have
you
sex
want.
with hold on. If you
Can I ask
have
a question?
hold on. If I jerk off and then ejaculate on an ant, do you think that's disgusting?
What the fuck?
We can all agree that that's kind
No.
of disgusting, right? We can all agree that that's disgusting.
That's a form of insectophilia.
Right?
I mean,
Yes, yes.
jerk off and ejaculate on your fucking
Okay,
uncle.
wait. Just yes or no. All I need is a yes or no.
All 6 legs.
All I need is a yes or no, right?
Doing
Right.
all this shit.
Okay, so we all agree that that's the okay.
Logical.
Penguin, no muting. Don't. I'm not gonna mute you because that's kind of I'm kind of live streaming on the internet, and I want to make this
I
watchable.
muted that motherfucker.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make this watchable, right?
Yeah.
I do want to make this watchable, so I do want everybody to just at least talk one at a time. All right.
Go
So
ahead.
I don't need to ask the whole room. I'm sure we all agree that jerking off and ejaculating on an ant is disgusting, right? Right. All right.
No,
So-
not necessarily. No.
Oh, so you do think
No.
it's okay? Oh, so you don't think that's disgusting?
Yeah. No, I don't. No.
Oh,
It
so
wouldn't
you think
matter
that's
to me.
perfectly fine?
No.
You think that's okay?
No. Well, I would think it. So, like, ants don't have moral consideration in my rules view. Ants don't.
Okay, so then we have that same moral view to dead bodies because they're dead.
Oh no, it's a false equivalency fallacy. So, like, if you, everyone listen closely. If I jack off to an ant, right, and my semen ends up on an ant, my semen ends up on my daughter. My daughter is there a difference or no on my
Wait.
daughter?
So if you're let me ask you a question.
Oh.
You think it's legal? You think it should be legal for someone to jerk off and ejaculate on an ant, right?
No.
No, it's not whether or not it should be or
I'm
not.
asking
It
you.
is.
I'm literally asking you.
No,
I'm literally
no.
asking you.
Before you
You could say yes or no.
Should it be illegal? Should it be
No.
illegal? Is what you're asking? Should it be
Yeah,
illegal?
I feel like I'm being pretty clear. I don't see what the confusion is.
Sure, jacking off on an ant, jacking off on your daughter is the same, right?
Hold on, I'm asking you a question. Do you
Oh
think it
my
should be
God.
illegal to jerk off on an ant? Yes or no?
No.
No,
No.
you think okay.
Question.
So
King
you
answers
don't
question.
think it's illegal. So does that mean that you think it's good to ejaculate on an ant?
No, that's called false dichotomy.
No. But you just said
Dichotomy
so. If
Uh-huh.
I just because I said so, you agree that just because I say that something isn't a rights violation and should be legal doesn't mean that I think that thing is good, right?
Bro, okay, I want to pause and take a moment
It
for
doesn't
like.
mean it's good, but again.
Okay,
we're
so then you
talking
agree
about-
with me. All right, thank you. Thank you.
One more time.
You right now, I gotta interject. I gotta interject. KingSithis, I got one question to ask you, KingSithis. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You can ask me
think
whatever you
that
like.
If the NAP allows you to have sex with your dead daughter,
yes,
do you think that is good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, of course I think that's bad.
But your
it can be
NAP
allowed.
allows it. So why
Okay,
do you
wait.
allow your
Again,
NAP?
I've already
then why
made this
does your
point
NAP
already.
allow you to have
Okay, so
sex
I'm
with
just
your
gonna
dead daughter?
incarnation.
KingSithis,
I'm
can
gonna
I take
catch
this
you up.
question?
Huh?
Can I take this question?
Sure, go ahead.
The same guy just
So
said that.
there
Now
is-
let
so there's-
let
you were doing an
Schizoid
incarnation.
go, please.
I know, I'm doing the same thing, right?
Allow-
so do you
wait,
think that
stop,
an
incarnation.
that an Ancap
All right, I'm
stand
gonna
that
mute.
allows
I'm gonna
you-
mute
Now, you kinda
incarnation.
weasel your way
I'm
out of
muting
it. Like-
Altax, and I'm muting Seed. Go ahead, Schizoid.
So within the whole entire body of KingSithis' moral code, it is sexual degeneracy is immoral, but as a subcategory, as a subject of justice and rights, there is the non-aggression principle, and while sexual degeneracy lays outside of the non-aggression principle scope, it's within KingSithis' entire body moral code, so it's still immoral even though it does not enter into the legal realm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you could think that something should still be legal while thinking it's also immoral. So, for instance, I think that prostitution should be legal, but do I think that every man should go out and have sex with every prostitute that he sees? Well, no, because I think that would probably not be a good idea. Same thing with all the other stuff. So again, just because I say that something is not a rights violation, so therefore it shouldn't be legal, does not mean I'm saying I think that is a good thing, or I think I want people to do it, or any other thing. Now I'm gonna unmute all the other guys so you guys can respond.
Good question, okay?
All right, now I can hear you, Incarnation. Go ahead if you want to respond.
So is an Ancapistan, okay, that allows you to have sex with your dead daughter a legitimate Ancapistan?
In the sense that there's no rights violation going on? Yeah. From my purview, yes.
Perfect.
Okay, but wait, does that mean that I support it?
Let's let everybody be clear here. KingSithis is okay with having sex with his dead daughter.
There's the word okay.
Okay, and you, wait.
There's the word okay again.
There's the word okay again. Did I say it's okay?
The crazy part,
it's legitimate.
There's the word okay again. You're mixing up the word okay and legitimate.
You think it's legitimate, KingSithis, to have sex with your dead daughter.
And you think it's legitimate, to have sex with a living 9-year-old. You think it's legitimate to have sex with a living 9-year-old. You said it's legitimate to have sex with a living 9-year-old. What is worse? Incarnation. I just want a quick yes. No, Incarnation. What is worse? Incarnation. What is worse? Incarnation. I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna mute you. Incarnation. What is worse? Having sex with our text. I'm gonna mute you down. So, Incarnation, I just want to ask you a very simple question. You say that it's if a government says it's okay to rape a 9-year-old, that is perfectly legitimate from your purview. What do you think is more worse? If you were to choose one over the other, raping having sex with a dead child, or having sex with a living child, you consider one of those to be legitimate and the other one not to be legitimate. So, what do you think is worse?
Oh, so now I love the fact.
Likes the weather one more.
So now I love the fact. Wait, let me finish here. So
he's not answering the question.
I can't answer the question.
Yes, you are. Answer the question.
Well,
what is worse? What is worse?
Okay, look, so let's clarify.
What is worse? You think you said that having sex. If it's legal to have sex with a 9-year-old, that's legitimate under your purview. So what do you think is worse? Having sex with a living 9-year-old or a dead 9-year-old? What is worse?
KingSithis, 1 second.
You said that. Did you not say that?
KingSithis,
did you not say that? Yes or no?
So if we are admitting, if we are engaging in this rhetoric, then
did you say that or not?
So if we are engaging in this rhetoric, hey, listen, if we are engaging. If we are...
All right, so we got him in a quarter, guys, it seems. Go ahead, Incarnation. Try to get yourself out of this corner.
Okay. So just before we engage, okay?
Just say it's the warmest one.
Okay.
Yeah, if the child is alive, it's perfectly okay and legitimate under your system. Yeah. But if they're dead, oh, that's too bad.
Okay.
Right?
So...
The floor is yours. Explain. Is it me or I can't hear him? Anyone?
Probably have him muted.
I can hear you.
I can hear him.
Who is him? I got everyone but you muted.
He's asking you right now, what's worse? He's asking you what's worse, fucking your mother or your daughter?
I think they're both disgusting, equally disgusting.
What do you mean, no?
No. What the fuck is wrong with this
which one's worse?
Okay, so Incarnation, so the floor is yours. I'm giving you the floor, Incarnation.
Right.
So what is worse, having sex with a... Because you said having sex with a 9-year-old is legitimate. You said that having sex with a 9-year-old is completely legitimate. So if you believe that having sex with a 9-year-old is legitimate, then...
Yeah, so no, he legitimately thinks this. He's actually 100% legit. He thinks this. 100%.
So are you running away from my argument, Incarnation?
KingSithis, you realize the implication. Can I talk without being interrupted?
I'm not. I have the other people. I have the other people muted. The only person that I have not muted is you.
I don't have the other guy muted.
You know, go mute. Then you're gonna have to mute them.
So, anyways, so here, if we are engaging in this line of conversation, then you are agreeing that it is wrong, but also legitimate in your world.
And you are making the argument that you think it's wrong, but also legitimate to have sex with 9-year-olds.
Dude, I just want to make sure that we're both on the same page, that we're both
arguing. Okay, so are we on the same page on this point?
Hierarchy on wrong. So right now, instead of just admitting that both Islam is bad and wrong, and that Ancapistan is bad and wrong,
I agree that Islam is wrong.
You are trying to say which one's worse. So that means you're agreeing that it's bad, that your system is flawed because it allows you to have sex with dead children. So
I'm giving you're running away from my argument, Incarnation. Incarnation, you're running. Okay, so then can I give it to you? Can I give you the Can I give you the argument, or are you going to run away? So the argument, Incarnation. The argument is very, very simple. Earlier today, you said if Islam, listen to me. Earlier today, you said if Islam took over the country and they made having sex with. Okay, so I'm muting Monta.
Yeah, no.
Monta.
Listen.
Incarnation. So very clearly.
What did you say,
so very clearly, I'm talking to you very clearly, okay? So, you said earlier, if the Islam took over the government and they instituted that you must have sex with a 9-year-old, you said that would be legitimate, correct?
That you must? That's not what Islam does. It just says that you're allowed to.
Okay, so that you're allowed to. Okay, okay, then I'll change it. Okay. Then you're allowed to. And you said that was legitimate, right?
Well, if the majority of the people voted it in, then unfortunately I have to say it's legitimate. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think is worse? Having sex with a living 9-year-old or having sex with a dead 9-year-old? What is worse?
Well, that's admitting that they're both bad.
I've never said. Very easy. Incarnation, you're not answering the question. And I'm going to ask you the question one more time. And if you don't answer the question, then I'm going to assume that you think it's okay. I'm just going to assume that you think it's okay to do those things to 9-year-olds. Okay. So I'm going to ask one more time. I'm going to ask you one more time. If you had the choice between having sex with a living 9-year-old, what's worse? Having sex with a living 9-year-old or having sex with a dead 9-year-old? What's worse?
Bro.
What's worse? Go ahead. The floor is yours. Hello? You there? Schizoid, you there? Oh, he left?
I'm here. Addicts, whatever the fuck that stupid name is, he's talking to you, but you have him muted.
All right, I have you unmuted now. Now that Incarnation, I only had you muted because you were talking while I was trying to question Incarnation.
All right, cool. King, you're listening to me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you.
Is it better to have sex with a 24-week fetus or your mom?
Both are equally disgusting.
Even though your mom's more have more consciousness, more experiences, more sentience?
Yeah, I would say both are pretty equally disgusting. I think I answered this question earlier, did I not?
It was a daughter-mother question.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, I think any kind of incest is disgusting. I think people shouldn't do it, but fundamentally there is because it's disgusting. I think it's just nasty.
Well, I say black ice cream is disgusting. Chocolate's disgusting. That's a personal preference, right?
Yeah, it is a personal preference.
Do we allow it?
You're right.
Do we allow it?
Well, so whether or not something should be allowed is whether or not there's a rights violation going from one person to another.
What is rights based off?
We believe in the non-aggression principle.
What do you mean? What do you mean by we?
As in us Ancaps.
I'm also here.
As a what? Hold on, dude. Let me and King have this discussion. What do you mean? What do you mean by we? Non-aggression principle.
I said us Ancaps. Us Ancaps.
Ancap.
The Ancap guys.
Cool. But when you keep asking people what is worse, right? I get that argumentation because you're a utilitarian.
No. I'm deontological, bro.
Oh, the act itself, right?
I'm deontological. I believe in the non-aggression principle, regardless of the utility.
Wait, hold up. Sithis, what do you mean by deontological?
Yeah, deontology.
Isn't that like a rule-based system?
No, not at all. Rule-based system would be rule utilitarianism. It wouldn't.
Wait.
Define
Hey, Sithis,
define deontology.
Yeah, deontology would be.
I'm sorry. I'm asking ChatGPT. That's all.
I
Okay,
recommend
actions are morally right or wrong
virtue
based on whether or
ethicist.
not they follow a set of rules or duties, not based on their consequences.
Yeah,
That's what I
true,
believe. I
true,
believe in the NAP. Right?
Okay,
There's
cool.
a slight, there's a bit
you
of a
just
difference.
said- hold on.
There's another. You could
just-
say another rules-based system that would suit us better. It's called virtue ethics.
Well, virtue ethics and like natural law.
Let me ask.
Right?
What's virtue ethics?
Virtue ethics is the idea. Okay, go ahead and explain. I'm not part of this conversation.
Yeah, King again. So you just said, for example, if you had if someone said, "I'm gonna have sex with your mother and daughter," it's gonna be the same, right?
I mean, they're both pretty disgusting. Yeah.
Well, I don't care what's disgusting. Eating roaches are disgusting, right? Like,
Well, I mean, you
doesn't
asked
matter
me if
what's
it's okay, and that's a preference thing, right?
Yeah, it's irrelevant what you care. It's about what Sithis cares.
True. So, what's disgusting should be allowed or not?
I mean, it depends whether or not something should be allowed or not allowed. Is from my perspective, is whether or not it violates or doesn't violate the non-aggression principle. So if it violates the non-aggression principle, I don't support it. If it does not, then you're free to do it.
Yeah, sure. I heard your whole last discussion. So your daughter who is dead, right?
I mean, you asked me the question. I'm just answering.
Yeah. Someone has sex with your daughter, right? That's not an aggressive principle within that?
I mean, is she an adult?
What's an adult? What age?
It's different for every person.
Oh, okay. An adult is at 12 years old.
I would disagree.
This, by the way.
I would disagree.
Okay, cool. So when does an adult agree? Come with your moral qualifications?
For each different person, it's different. But when they're
maybe
able to,
9 years
when
old.
they're able. They're able to express their will.
Okay, 9 years old.
I don't agree that 9-year-olds are adults. They're kids.
Okay, what age?
Generally, it's around 18 to 21.
No, true. That's completely false. Like, you have no sufficient evidence. Oh, hold on.
I said generally.
It's 17 years old, generally. I can make the same claim.
I mean, the scientists would disagree, I guess. You on that one.
Okay, it's 18 scientists agree.
I mean, are you trying to convince me that 9-year-olds are adults? Is that what you're trying to convince me?
No, I'm asking you, when does a adult exist?
When they, it's different for each person, but generally it's around 18.
You have no evidence to prove generally 18 years old.
When do children hit puberty? When do children hit puberty?
I think it might be average age.
It's in a range, 13? Right? It's in a range,
yeah,
right?
True,
okay,
true.
So wait.
Is puberty your new argument?
Wait a minute. You can't give me. Wait a minute. You can't give me a concrete number as to which age would people turn get in proper puberty. Why not?
Okay, your argument changed to puberty, right?
No, my argument is that there's a range in which people go into an adulthood, the same way there's a range in which people go into puberty, right? Not every single person hits adulthood at the same year, at the same date. That's the only argument that I'm making. It's very easy, very simple.
Agree.
Okay.
True. When's an adult exist? Go ahead.
Oh my god, I've already answered this question. So I'm not going to continue. I'm not respectfully. Like, I've answered your question. Dude, so if you're gonna, if you answer me, listen to me. If you ask me a question, that I've already answered, I'm just gonna mute you. So
yeah, it's called.
Pick your questions. Pick your questions very carefully, because if you ask me a question that I've already answered, I'm just gonna mute you. So go ahead. Be very careful with your question.
Yeah, everyone. I want for the recording to realize his argument is subjective and arbitrary.
So is yours. Wait, when do children hit puberty?
Hold on.
When do children hit puberty?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know? Okay.
I don't. Yeah,
I don't know neither. I don't know neither.
You just said there's a time frame.
Yeah,
but
it's
once they
it's a
hit
range. Yeah, it's a range.
Yeah. What
No
range?
scientist,
Go ahead.
no scientist would disagree with me on this.
What range?
Generally within around 18 to 21.
No, that's completely false.
I get it. I get it. You think it's okay to have sex with children.
Everyone.
I got you.
No. Everyone, listen closely. I asked him, what is puberty? He doesn't know. I don't know, right? Right?
You don't know what puberty is?
No, I don't know. Menstrual
bro.
cycle? What is it? Hold on. What is it?
Respectfully, bro, you're making my brain hurt, so I'm done talking to you. I hope you know I got you muted, right? Okay. I love playing World of Warcraft. It's such a good game. Let's do a live. Are you gonna continue to yap on? Because you're kind of making my brain hurt, bro. Oh yeah, I gotta go do a warrior quest. That's what I need to do. Oh hey, what's up, Ozzy?
What's up, you guys?
I have him muted. My end.
Oh, you have him muted?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I hear him. I don't know. I think he was talking, but.
So what are? Can I ask you something?
Wait, maybe I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I can hear you now. But Atix was talking, so I don't know if I will have to mute him too or like.
Okay, I'll just kick him. Don't worry. Give me a second.
All right, Atix. Have a good night, bro.
Have a good night, man. Oh fuck.
All right. Yeah. Good night, bro. Yeah, he said when you are prepared to debate him, something about the theory of the mind that you, whatever, talk to him.
Why do you keep coming back?
Oh my.
Oh fuck, I think I banned the wrong person. There we go. Okay, good.
Hell?
I kicked him out of the room.
What the fuck was that, bro? What the hell? What do you believe in, huh?
These guys were like looking for the worst examples of like moral kind of like hypotheticals that they come up with to get banned from YouTube and Discord at the same time in one night. I don't know.
I had him muted, so I didn't hear anything he was saying in the last.
Yeah, yeah.
So can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what do you believe in? What do you personally
believe in? Like as a religion or like as a
political philosophy?
Like
I'm an Ancap.
Actually, no, but well, I did of course have my 2016 era when I was getting into politics and I would read about Ancap stuff and it would make more sense than a lot of things, but like from a I would say that in terms of like logical consistency and kind of like universalist sort of morals, the non-aggression principle is one of the strongest, but at the same time I feel like that is in terms of society and religion, for example, and cultural identity and like ethnicity is also very important to in the end maintain a cohesive society. So like you want to uphold some sort of like non-aggression principles, but at the same time certain collectives sometimes how do you say it, like making some pressure via force or whatever institutions to make things happen ends up being long-term better. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, let's say forcing kids to school is obviously a very basic one, right? But in that sense there's also a lot of things where like discipline ends up making societies a bit more long-term, like feasible and productive and prosperous, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would still value tradition in that sense. That I wouldn't. I like the non-aggression principle as a principle, but I wouldn't probably trust a society to that last very long in certain conditions if they just think that it means like do whatever you want all the time, you know.
Yeah, like, a lot of these guys, they just tried to do everything that they could to try to make me seem ridiculous, but the thing is, I know all their tricks, and I know how to make them look ridiculous too, so, you know, it's never enough. They could sit here and act like they got the moral high ground and be like, oh, I think you're crazy because you think it's okay to have sex with a dead body, but literally earlier in the day, I asked him if he thought it would be legitimate if a government, you know, became a democracy, and he said yeah, and then, so it's just like, oh, you know, you think it's legitimate to have sex with a living child. So, like, obviously, that's
I was just making the joke
everyone.
that he preferred the warmest, but yeah.
That's funny. That was funny.
Well, how much of a contractualist are you in that sense? Like, do you think, like, contracts kind of, like, supervene everything? Like, I don't know if that's the word in English, but, like if somebody, like...
transfers
like
the titles.
Yeah, for example, kids, like, are they part of a contract with their dads in some say, like, do they have some sort of property, you know? And would the community kind of enter there? I think that's always an interesting topic from the Ancap perspective, like, because it seems almost like you have a really good system, you know, until you get to these little things where it's a bit tricky. And I'm not saying it's, you know...
I get what you're saying.
Worse things, you know, like it would be worse to live in a communist society. But still, the whole Ancap... utopia has its little things where you have to. I think, for example, in my opinion, I would be probably more like a minarchist than an Ancap in that sense that I don't know, like I feel like it would be easier to establish, but of course then the state can very easily degrade it to just a ever-growing machine of like taxes and stupid rules, you know. So it's tricky. Whereas you can go for the Ancap thing, but then you have to be constantly relying on contracts that eventually will also become sort of like social contracts. You know what I'm saying? Like you might come with a private company that like carries the service of like this whole.
Hey,
like,
Schizoid man.
Dude.
Like the when do like
YouTuber.
kids get independence, you know? But.
So our view on children, when it comes to children, we don't believe you own your kid. We just believe, like, you know, like parents don't own their kids. What they have is the right to take the guardianship role over their child, which means that basically the child is a self-owner. They own themselves, but they are not able to really make their own decisions. So as a guardian, you kind of just take care of them until they are, until they become an adult. And you're not allowed to like damage the property or violate their rights in any, you just sort of take care of them until they're an adult.
So another way of saying is preserving their natural state. It's the same thing like as if you were hired to manage an estate. It's a very similar concept.
Yeah, but don't you think it's also like a bit in the air, like a bit on the kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
I wrote a 10-page Google Doc on guardianship. I can like pull it up and I could probably answer questions if you
Could
have
you send
them.
that to me actually?
I can
read
actually. That
actually.
if you, I think it's interesting. I think Karl Popper had some.
Yeah, you're
written
actually
about
talking
that
to the right guy here on that issue, Schizoid Man, because he knows a lot about that. Yeah, send it to me.
I'll
definitely.
put
it in
I'll
my
put it in
DMs.
chat.
DM it to me.
No, it
I'll
wasn't.
also put it in the open chat.
Yeah, so
No, it
I can
wasn't
see it.
Popper,
I'm
it
gonna read
wasn't-
it like while I'm at work and stuff.
Was it Rothbard that wrote about it?
Rothbard
I
did write
remember.
about it too.
Yeah, I think it was.
Who was the one that came
There's a
up with the
chapter he
idea of
dedicated-
guardianship role? Was it Rothbard or who was it?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, I know, like, people have always thought about guardians, like, for a while, but, like, when did it become, like, a libertarian concept? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like,
I'm not sure, but basically, like, the paper that I wrote is both based on Rothbard's original chapter from the Ethics of Liberty and a paper from, actually a guy I don't really respect anymore, but nevertheless, I liked his paper.
Who's that?
Oh, his name is Ian Hersom.
Okay, I had never heard of.
No, he's literally, I think the only authorship he has online is just a paper on guardianship, which I used that paper to base on like my Google Doc.
Okay, so how come you don't respect him anymore? Do you know him personally, like something like that?
It's a long story. I'll just
All
put it
right.
at that. I'll just leave it at that. Sithis knows about it. It's related to the drama.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know anything
and Zulu?
about that sort of
You
thing.
talking about?
Yeah, it's Nye.
Nye? Oh, got you. So he
Which
helped
is
you
a
write
bit
that.
ironic. No, he didn't, but he did write a paper on it once upon a time.
And you sort of based your arguments on that one, or
I did.
Okay, got you. Yeah, yeah, those guys are. Whew.
Yeah, but because I'm probably not gonna read that right now, as we speak. But there's like for example, like if somebody didn't want to take ownership of their kid, like who would force that? For example, just like random.
Well, isn't that the problem? Force isn't the initiation of force what we're against?
What do you mean?
Well, if there's no one to take guardianship over a child, it's unfortunate, but there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah, like, but that's okay. So let me get like what I mean. So, for example, let's say, if a baby is born and nobody wants to take ownership of him, let's say an orphanage would come, for example, and be like, we can make this. We can.
Well,
take
then it's not
ownership
really
of it.
no one. If no one is going to take
No,
care
I'm just saying.
of
I'm just saying in no one in terms of like none of the parents or like none of the close family, kind of like. What do you think about abortion in that sense? You take like the contractual list or like kind of like the what is it called, like the proprietary kind of like argument that.
We believe in evictionism.
The kid is just. Yeah, evictionism. That's the word. Sorry, I don't know all the words in English for this. Yeah, but evictionism, basically like the kid is trespassing in the woman's womb. Is that the view you take about?
Yeah.
Evictionism is the position that it is permissible to evict the baby, but not to abort the baby. You understand the difference between eviction and abortion?
Yeah. Like you would have to take him out, and if he survives, if he dies, he dies, but you don't kill it.
Now,
Yeah.
in practicality, we would hope that the artificial womb technology would develop so that no baby would have to die outside of the womb. Because that's terrible, of course.
Yeah, but right now, it would entail that, basically.
The NAP would permit it, you could say.
Yeah.
Like it's not a violation of anyone's rights technically because you're just removing someone from your property, and if they die, I mean that's just something like it's the same. We would view it the same way as like somebody dying of old age, right? You know, there's not much you can do about it.
I more view it as like evicting a tenant out of like the landlord's place, and the tenant dies due to natural causes from the exposure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another good example.
Can you repeat it, please? Can you repeat it? I don't know if I got it.
What I just said, I view it as if a tenant was evicted by a landlord and died due to the exposure of the natural elements.
Yeah. Like if there was some like Armageddon or something going on, like a apocalypse, something like that, like a.
Sure.
Right, like a nuclear apocalypse.
Or just a really bad winter.
Okay. Yeah.
We would say you're not responsible for that.
Out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I think I guess for me, what makes it all sort of like fit well sometimes is to think that this would be the very, very ground rules for a society, but like probably. I mean, this is the way I see it. I don't know if you guys have the same thing in mind, but in my mind, like any political community, it doesn't have to be the state, but any group of people that voluntarily associated, they would probably put in place some sort of like general rules where they would be like, hey, if you're going to evict somebody from your property, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we call those covenant communities. That's a popular term in our community.
This is like, it's basically you have a social contract as well, but it's not enforced by a state or by force.
You could say it's a real and true social contract. You could say
a legitimate one, because it's like you may not be signing a contract, but you are explicitly agreeing to the terms. Whereas with the social contract, you can't really say the same thing. Like you can't say like, oh, everyone explicitly agrees to the social contract, because there are many people who are anarchists like ourselves who who explicitly disagree with it, you know, in the opposite direction.
So you're both Ancaps, not like minarchists?
Yes, we are Ancaps.
I'm an agorist.
Oh, we're agorists now? Are we now coming out? Is there coming out of the closet time that we're agorists?
You guys have like
we're closet agorist. I'm in a closet agorist. No, I do really think agorism is really based. I've been reading it a lot, and actually you were the one that kind of told me about it, and I went and read like the agorist primer, and then I loved it a lot. I've read it twice, and then I read the manifesto, the Libertarian Manifesto, and I liked that one a lot. It was good.
Hell yeah.
How do you guys like go about the, for example, like the
Libertarian Manifesto?
Like about the social and like cultural aspect of a society, not just like the aggression of the state. In terms of like, do you hold any views like you would sort of like are you guys religious? Like
I certainly do.
I'm not religious myself. I don't know about. I don't think Schizoid is. Are you religious or?
Well, recently I've been really flirting with the idea of something called panentheism. I'm sure maybe I've mentioned it before.
But I'm not like a Christian. I've heard of that before. Personally,
like nature is like God is like nature, basically, like the universe.
Actually, I used to be a pantheist. That's called pantheism. That God is everything. But panentheism is actually different. It's God is within everything. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel.
I didn't really have a YouTube channel. I have to check it out.
I'll put it in the open chat.
So I heard you having a conversation with another guy, and you said that you're no longer an objectivist anymore. Is that true or no?
Oh, I had a conversation with the dude, and he really kind of shaked up my ontology. And so what I mean by like I'm no longer an objectivist, what I mean is that because of my disagreement in ontology, it can't make me an objectivist anymore.
In what sense? I'm curious about.
Did you say something about no longer agreeing with the primacy of existence or something like that?
Actually, it's kind of a, like how Konkin said that Agorists are more Rothbardians than Rothbard.
Yeah.
Well, I would argue that I would believe in the primacy of existence more than objectivists, but that's because I kind of like, because of my ontological shook up, I basically like, what's the word, redesigned, reformatted, rephrased my primacy of existence / consciousness dichotomy, because of my ontological shakeup, consciousness is actually a fundamental facet of the universe rather than an accidental later development. Like objectivists would believe that they're not a pan-experientialist, and so they don't take consciousness as fundamental as I take consciousness. In fact, probably all objectivists would say that I'm holding a primacy of consciousness fallacy because I believe in pan-experientialism. So I made a video discussing about
exactly.
Pan-experientialism is the position that all the atoms are conscious, and it's not just cells that are consciousness, but all the atoms in the universe are also little tiny cells.
How do you define conscious that way? Like, how can you define an atom as conscious?
Like, how do you know that?
Consciousness is the faculty of awareness. Here's the hard problem of consciousness. So, where does consciousness come about? How does it come about? Pan-experientialism solves the problem with it was always here to begin with. So, us as an organism, as a multicellular organism, we are one unified ego. But we are also made up of trillions and trillions of other egos. The assimilation of all the egos, all the cells are alive in our body, are they not? They are organisms. Cells are organisms. And we are multicellular organisms. We are an organism assembled from trillions of other organisms. So now you take a cell, how is it an organism? How is it alive? How is it, on some degree, consciousness? It's made up of atoms, but these atoms are not alive themselves. So how does the arrangement of atoms somehow create consciousness? Pan-experientialism says, actually the answer is all the atoms are alive. It's not necessarily like a position that I fully agree with, but it's more like an answer that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to me. It just makes a lot of sense to me that it makes no sense that the atoms are not alive and assembled together creates life. And it makes a lot more sense to me to say that the atoms are alive and assembled together they create life.
Yeah, but alive and conscious is very different, no? I can be alive and not be conscious at all.
Well,
I don't know where the word conscious comes there.
I'd argue, no, I mean, it's a broader term of the use. I can understand you can be alive, but you can be, knocked out. So you're, subconsciously operating, but your conscious is off. But what I rather mean by consciousness, I think I'm saying something more broader. More about just just about general experience. So, I'm not saying, the atoms are, thinking, or the atoms are having thoughts like us, but they have some sort of degree elementary experience to them. So for example, when you're sleeping, you're unconscious, but you're also still conscious. Even if you're not dreaming, there's still some sort of non-temporal experience that you're having.
Yeah.
Even if you're not drawing memory, you're not feeling time, it's a dreamless sleep, there is still at the base some sort of fundamental experience going on. And you could draw something similar to the atoms.
Yeah, I don't know if for example, you could say that there's brain activity in certain area of the brain that is firing off, and it's activating the same neural paths that make you have an experience of, let's say, for example, seeing something, even though your eyes are closed. That part of the brain is being stimulated. I think that way you can explain certain levels of semi-consciousness while they're asleep. But my the problem where I kind of started losing the the make sense part was when you started saying about all the cells in a body are kind of an unified ego. When there's, in terms, if we say consciousness, I think it's very different to feel a stomach ache and to feel you have a problem in your head you try to solve. For example, or you can take paracetamol or whatever and you stop feeling some part of your body because you're basically numbing the brain and everything else doesn't feel at all. You know what I'm saying? So there are so many ways in which consciousness is in very different levels in a single body that it wouldn't also at least for our brains they are not. You know what I'm saying? At least from the way we perceive our bodies in our brain, not every part of our brain is as aware, as sensitive, as conscious. And I can say maybe the same is for atoms, no? Atoms could be way less aware and conscious to the point close to zero, no?
Yeah, you could say close to zero, but I think it makes sense that it can't. I think it makes no sense that it is 0. Is my point. Now, someone in the open chat said, "Isn't that idealism with extra steps?" It kind of sounds like idealism, but the thing is that I still believe in the material world. I believe that the material world still exists. It's more sort of closer to like a dualism, you could say, because dualism says that there's both the material and the spiritual. Idealism says that there's only the spiritual.
Well,
it would not be accurate to call it dualism, and to be frank, I don't even claim to be an expert in all this. I'm just barely scratching the surface with this shit. I've not really done a whole lot of reading, but I've done a little bit of reading, and I have a couple of the books that my friend has recommended for me to read, but they're really difficult books. I'm reading Process and Reality, a very, very difficult book. I bought a companion book, A Key to Process and Reality, and it's still kind of a struggle.
Yeah,
it's very
it
esoteric.
Very complicated.
It's not like objectivism, where you read objectivist text and it's like very clear cut, dry, simple, easy to understand.
Yeah, but why? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like not very versed in all this, because this is the first time I hear about objectivism in a long while, so I don't remember all the stuff. But how thinking that, like, let's say for example, like an atom's level of awareness is not 0, makes you not an objectivist in that sense.
It's just simply that objectivists are they are dualists. Dualism as in the position that there is consciousness, there is a spiritual realm, but they don't take it to the fundamental level like pan-experientialism does. It's more like a property that emerged later on in the universe, rather than always being there from the beginning.
And so for them, there is like a 0 level of.
Oh, and if I may clarify, idealists are not dualists. I'm just answering the guy in the chat. I wasn't trying to say that idealists are dualists. I was just trying to say you could liken pan-experientialism closer to dualism than idealism. Anyways, but also from pan-experientialism, Alfred North Whitehead is like the philosopher I'm referencing with all this kind of stuff. He draws from pan-experientialism his theory of God. And if you believe in God, you are especially not an objectivist anymore.
So yeah, I guess I have to read about this before asking you so many questions about it.
I can't really provide very accurate answers anyways, because I'm like a beginner in all this.
Yeah, and that's what happens to me, that when I'm researching a topic, is the moment where my mind is the most like sort of like shapeable in some sense, where I can't tell you anything for certain. Like if I'm researching a topic at the moment and you ask me something about it, I can never say anything 100%. It's like after a while that I've kind of like settled in it, I can start like giving more like accurate and established responses.
I'm gonna share another video in the live chat or the open chat, so you guys can watch the interview with the guy who was teaching me all this stuff.
I watched a little bit of that. It's a bit hard to follow for me personally, because I'm a layman on all that. So, but I'm gonna have to listen to it a few times to understand what's going on.
It is. I mean, it is quite a advanced topic. You could say. You could say that I've like stumbled upon veteran difficulty level philosophy. You could say.
Yeah, it sounds very complicated. But so you are you're not a Christian then, right?
I'm not a Christian.
Okay.
Me neither.
So before all this, I was calling myself an anarcho-objectivist. I was using objectivism as the base, but with the addition of anarchism.
I started my own religion. I call it Praxianism, where we worship the invisible hand of the free market. It guides us in the market.
Allah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a new cult when I'm like, I don't know, 2 years.
I'm gonna be the Grand Praxian.
But I think it's just gonna be like a harem passing as a cult.
I try to say.
Sithis, are you gonna play Battlefield 6?
Probably not. I'm so addicted to World of Warcraft.
You should get addicted to Battlefield 6 when it comes out, and play with me.
I'll give it a shot maybe when it comes out. Yeah. gotta get back into. I'll get back into first-person shooters just for Battlefield because I feel like Battlefield is pretty damn good.
I played the beta. I was so hooked on it.
So then you're not on objectivist anymore, right? You're like.
Well, in the sense that my newfound beliefs it takes me too far of a distance to call myself an objectivist, but you could still say that I am objectivist adjacent. I still agree with the objectivist egoism. I still agree with the epistemology. I still agree with like other aspects of the metaphysics.
Yeah, the thing about sometimes like now that I'm like kind of like checking it out again, sort of like refreshing. It just seems like it draws a lot on like a lot of philosophical definitions that took a lot of kind of like, you know, when some terms are already loaded by the whole like, you know, so for example, if I say I'm being rational, it just apparently just seems like something is itself is good, you know, or if I say I'm being objective, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if the actual definitions hold the same weight as, you know what I'm saying, as what they've been charged with. Just like if somebody today might call you a fascist, it just doesn't hold the same weight as it used to, you know? And some leftists might be just using it to like disregard you, right? It's the same way when you can use the word like reason.
It's a good thing that the objectivists do have a clear definition of what they mean by objective, which is especially good because how they define objective is quite queer, actually. If you're interested, because it's quite queer. My good chap. Do we want to go down this?
No, I'm just messing.
I find it interesting, but like how? Well, like I said, I have to do my research, so I'm not trying to, you know.
You want to join my debate
group? Specifically out of curiosity, I'm asking these things, not to like challenge anything. I'm just a curious person, and I just haven't checked out objectivism in a while, so I forgot some stuff about it. But that's kind of like the last kind of like view I had of it. That it was a bit drawing on.
I do think that objectivism is quite, you could say, and this is like not as a criticism, but it would sound like a criticism. It's quite an artsy-fartsy kind of philosophy. It's pretty easy, it's pretty intuitive, it's pretty elementary, and I don't take that as negatives at all. I mean, I think I like how simple and clear it is to understand objectivism for those who agree and disagree, and for all the aspects that people do agree and disagree with it. The matter of the fact is that it's pretty easy to understand the entire body of objectivism. You can understand the entire body of objectivism within like a few hours of watching YouTube lectures from the ARI, basically. It's not like something like I'm trying to dip my toes into process philosophy. That's the pan-experientialism stuff, because that shit is definitely not easy.
Yeah. No, that's
because
I think like criticism sometimes is like it's too simple, you know. But yeah, I mean, doesn't mean that it's specifically wrong.
Simplicity's got their pros and cons. Complexity has its pros and cons. It just so happens that objectivism is pretty simple, and that has its pros and cons. But I mean, I still, like I said, I'm still an egoist. I do think that Rand's ethic, what she's constructed, is just like chef kiss.
Yeah, I mean, I told KingSithis, I used to be a lot into that kind of libertarian philosophy, or like Ancap, back in like 2016. Now I'm like, I forgot so much about it, about like the actual like kind of like principles and the argument, and the, you know.
But well, I mean, it's nothing to necessarily be ashamed of. I mean, like, I bet there's a lot of important practical things a human can do besides be autistic online with anarcho-capitalism, even though that is quite fun.
Yeah, no, I had my time where I would like make some Thomas Sowell edits, you know, and like post some quotes, like, you know, just pictures with the edits, like the quotes, because I found them so necessary, you know, in some sense.
I'm planning to go back to school in the spring, and I'm kind of thinking by the time it's springtime, I'm like low-key like, oh, it's time to grow up. I'm gonna be a real adult now.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 21 right now.
Yeah, 28, bro. So that's where the difference lies. I had my share of losing, like Frankie would say.
Sorry, I got
No,
nothing.
I'm too old
didn't
for
have any.
Ancap stuff.
I mean, the thing is that like, even if you do forget a lot of the theory, anarcho-capitalism as an intuitive philosophy, a general philosophy for the layman, is really simple, eloquently beautiful.
Yeah, but then well, I like, I don't know how much you guys, maybe you have gotten more into the just strictly philosophical and kind of like normative sense of the philosophy, but sometimes I feel like it has the same flaws as certain like leftist kind of ideologies, where like they might be, for example, you know how, what's it called in English, the blank slate, right? Like how sometimes certain ideologies in the left, especially, they become really blank slate and they dismiss a lot of natural facts about humans, you know. Even though I don't think that, let's say, economic policy should be centralized, I do believe that, for example, certain like religious aspects, societal aspects of a community, they always have to rely on some tradition or certain centralized or a slightly forceful power to kind of like maintain them through time. You know, I don't know if you.
I think a lot of religions do rely on that authoritarian philosophy, but that's I think I take that more as a critique of those religions rather than, I mean, like, for example, I don't believe that, and I'm using religion in more of a mesotheistic sense of the word, something more like I would call like government a religion. So like I don't believe religion in this sense would exist in a free society. I don't believe, like, for example,
not like the bureaucracy, not like the
especially the Abrahamic religions, I don't believe would exist in a free society. They would be very minimal, because I do believe that these, like, a lot of these religions preload themselves with the authoritarian philosophy that is the soil that sprouts statism. It takes no genius to read through the Bible and realize that God is absolutely a tyrant.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's the opposite though. You know what I mean? Like
the opposite of like an atheist society. I mean, like I once thought that a free society would be atheistic, but now with, like, you know, obviously what I was talking about, I'm not quite sure about that anymore.
Yeah, but you just said that you think that those. What type of religion do you think then would exist?
Well, I think all types of religions would exist. It's more of a question about prevalence and dominance. And whatever the religion that would be prevalent or dominant, it must be preloaded with the libertarian philosophy in order for a libertarian society to exist. For example, like a libertarian society with a predominantly Christian philosophy would not last as a libertarian society for long, because the soil for authoritarianism is set with the predominance of Christianity, and soon the society would fall back into statism.
Well, I don't know. I feel like Christianity has gone through so many different stages, and I feel like it can adapt to. It kind of adapts to almost anything. It's not like Islam, you know. Especially since Protestantism, it has adapted a lot. But I was just.
Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about the like. For example, you know how one of the reasons that made more compelling the argument of anarcho-capitalism for me when I was started reading it, and in general always makes me side that way more than others, is the fact that the NAP is kind of like a very reliable way of kind of predicting the actions of others as well. You know, you're not subject to this sort of like random tyranny, and I think that the same thing it happens like culturally with peoples. You know, like if people want to make families, if they want to have like, I don't know, good education system, like clean spaces, like all these things also rely on certain sort of like cultural rules and norms, you know. So that's why I think that religion would be even more present in a libertarian society than not, because where the state before used to do the kind of like conflict resolution and so a certain sort of like social resource allocation, kind of like the attention would be decided by voting. What issues do we pay attention to? What social aspects of our society need the more care and the more like investment? Like that, I think that would switch to the civilians, to the kind of like political community. Not political community in the state sense, but like, you know what I mean?
No, I absolutely do know what you mean. So long as these religions born liberty within their philosophy,
what determines
they should be
it's
prevalent
wrong?
in, or we would see them in some degree of prevalence in a free society.
Yeah, well, of course, it doesn't guarantee that they will last, because every religion can just start eating away at the principle of liberty really quick.
Especially, it kind of depends on how we're defining religion. If we're inherently attributing faith, and what I mean specifically by faith, I mean the antithesis to reason kind of faith as a bedrock to any religion, it just can't persist in a libertarian society. A libertarian society has to be based in reason rather than faith.
Wait, do you think faith is unreasonable?
Hell yes.
Well, again, this also is like, how are we defining?
Unifying faith, and to think that you don't need that is not very reasonable.
Wait, say again?
If all societies before us have needed that unifying faith, isn't it unreasonable to think we don't? Like, that would be my first, even from a very scientific and kind of like, let's look at the evidence standpoint, it would be unreasonable to assume that we don't need faith.
Well, we need faith for statism, and hitherto to all human society up until, this point, well, it's still going on, but the entirety of human civilization has been status. And statism does rely on faith. It relies on faith in authority, because authority is not set in stone by rationality.
How would this...
Go ahead.
No, I was just asking, how would the libertarian society, solve the problem of induction? I'm not even religious, I'm just saying, you have faith everywhere in any functioning mind, society, anything. If we say, faith is, kind of like an assumption of what you don't see, of what you can't prove, then, Or do you, of course, if you mean, an unifying faith, like a state religion, of course, I don't mean that when I say that people will need faith, but they will certainly, need faith in some sense or the other,
Again, it kind of just depends on what do we mean by faith.
Yeah, well, I think it's basically believing something that you can't quite prove, you can't quite you might have indications, for example, you have a lot of faith on the concept of freedom, right, of liberty on the NAP. We don't actually know how it will turn out.
Liberty, I believe in liberty. I don't believe in it because of faith. I believe in it because I've logically gone through the steps, and I've proven it to myself that I can show the reason and proof behind this. Not because
the proof behind the fact that it would work well?
No, proof that it's morally true. The non-aggression principle is morally true.
Well, I don't want to really attack your position.